guys have to throw a party. I can tell. I'm
Invitational. I really enjoy seeing a lot of the up and coming future stars of
Yep.
basketball from the area. Get to see what the teams are putting together for the upcoming year. It's a lot of fun. I just really enjoyed doing ECI.
It's a fun event. I remember you were running the thing over there at Jacksonville, and they had banished me over there for a game or two to do while they had covering the games. And you know me, I don't like to miss a meal, but you made sure I got fed, and I appreciate that. I didn't starve that day. My ribs didn't start showing.
No, no, we. That's one thing I like about working ECI too.
Yeah, they'll bring you food, won't they?
Yeah, I don't have to run out and get it. No.
Well, you're gonna have some food out here today, aren't you, Harry?
Yeah, we got food. And,
Tell people what they can kind of expect. The thing is basically between 11 and 4. We got to jump on everybody to kind of get it on the air. What are we looking at starting at 11 o'clock?
Well, really, it's just come by, and we've got a lot of customers that have bought through the years from us coming by. We wanted to feed anybody that wants to come by, and so yeah, it's gonna be a good day, and I hope we have a good crowd. And I want to thank Ron for coming. In my opinion, Ron knows more about athletics in this county than anybody does. He's been involved in it, like you said, 50 years, and gosh, I think back when he was coaching soccer years ago, and really, I thought made soccer a big part of making soccer what it is today in Oslo County, and then just involved in all the sports. And how many kids has he touched in his lifetime?
Oh yeah, tons. That
Yeah.
whether they knew his name or not growing up, they remember him as being one of the ones that was out there volunteering and helping. Last night, Billy Woodward did his final game for Southwest High School, and same type thing. People just, they have that connection with somebody that's that volunteerism mentality that they just do it because they love doing it and
Yeah.
loving helping the community. Now, Ron, are you ready to add this red Dodge truck behind us to your collection? I don't know if Harry would let that one go, but
I doubt very seriously that's going anywhere
he's
anytime
not going to
soon.
let that one go.
Yeah, a little 50 model. You don't see many of those for sure.
Well, tell us about that one. When you've acquired that one recently?
Yeah,
correct?
got it recently. It's a 50 model. It's an old dually, and it's an old farm truck really, but it's unique. I don't know that I've ever seen one, but
I don't remember seeing a dually that old.
I don't either.
Honestly.
I didn't know they made them back
I didn't
then.
either.
And so yeah, just kind of a unique vehicle, and had an opportunity to buy it, so we did.
Well, I see the back end of a race car out there. Some people come out. Y'all going to fire that thing off and rev it up a little bit, shake the windows out here?
Yeah, we sponsor some racing around here, so that's one of the cars we sponsor, and so yeah, come on by and take a look.
And then what are some other of the static displays you have? I saw an Army Jeep out there. Tell us about some of the vehicles people can see when they come out here and experience all this stuff.
Well, the oldest one is a 28 Dodge Brothers vehicle, which, you think about Dodge Brothers, and most people don't even realize that's how Dodge was created,
Yeah.
but and Chrysler. But that's a unique vehicle. And then we've got an old Willys Jeep out there, which is a wartime Jeep, which is kind of neat. And we got a old Ram Charger. People might remember the Ram Charger that was a popular vehicle and is now becoming more of a collectible. So we got one of those out there. So yeah, got a few old cars to take a look at.
There's some good stuff now. You talk about Dodge boys, and is Dodge going to get back in NASCAR?
I think they
heard
are.
any kind of?
Well, I know they are in the
rumbles?
truck series, and so I just think it's a matter of time before they do.
I miss them out there. It just it ain't the same. You got the two makes now. American makes. And what's your thoughts on Toyota being in NASCAR? Would you rather not say?
Probably not, but money drives everything now.
It does, but it just seems weird to have a foreign car. And I know there's some made in America, and that's their answer. But it just seems odd having a foreign maker and not having all the big three. Remember back in the day, you'd have Buick, Pontiac, Dodge, Chrysler, Plymouth. Not just the brand, but all the different models and versions.
Well, what's really changed though? All these vehicles, where they put together. So it really has changed. It's not like it used to be, and you only got a certain amount of vendors that are out there making parts for any of these cars. So I tell people now there's not much difference in vehicles anymore.
Yeah.
It really comes down to who you feel comfortable working with and, having a relationship with as far as purchasing a vehicle. That's really what it comes down to.
Well, tell people about the hot car you got going now. What's the hot sports car now?
Well, we're getting we're going to have the Charger coming back, and so that's going to be interesting. And they're going to put the Hemi back in it. So that was gone. That's what they had told us, but. When administrations change, things change. So this one's coming back, and so it'll be a popular vehicle again. I mean, people really did love those Chargers and Challengers.
Oh yeah. Now you still have the Challenger though, don't you?
Well, really, both of them went away. But
oh really?
But,
I didn't know the Challenger had gone away.
And but hopefully we can get them both back and have that kind of sport car that people want.
Well, I saw a gleam in Ron's eye when you said Hemi. Are you thinking about getting one of those?
No, it just brought back memories when they first came out.
Oh yeah.
That was the thing. A lot of people don't realize we didn't have a whole lot to do around Swansboro back in the
So
early.
y'all just drag raced up and down 24, didn't you?
Believe it or not, I didn't drag race that 56 Dodge, but we used to go watch them. I mean, these weren't at the drag strips. These were like Highway 58 and at Hammonds Beach Road.
Back before there was a car.
That's right.
Now there's a car every 30 feet. You couldn't drag race if you wanted to.
I mean, we had the drive-ins. You had the W&W in Swansboro, the Toot and Tell It.
They had a Toot and Tell It in Swansboro?
No, that was in Richland.
I knew the Richland. I thought you meant they had one in Swansboro.
And then we
too,
had the Pig in Jacksonville, and we had Dommel's. And guys would bring up these cars that they had souped up.
Yeah.
And sit there, and they crank them up every once in a while and let you know they're still on the parking lot.
Rattle the windows of the place.
Yeah.
You know the movie, of course, American Graffiti, one of my favorite movies. I just like watching the cars and having the nostalgia, but there was a lot of places around here like that. I remember my mom and dad talking about, let's see, there was the Whirly Bird, the Whiston Pig. Do you remember that one?
Yeah.
The Toot and Tell It in Richlands. Didn't they used to have like an A&W?
Had a torch drive-in at one time.
Torch drive-in.
Well, you had Vecchio's, the one that had the radio's tower in the top, and you could pull up and you could request songs while you're sitting there.
Really?
Eating. Yeah.
How about the IT drive-in? That's another old one. Yeah.
Where was it at? I don't remember that.
Boulevard. Yeah.
Yep.
But there was so many great places where that was the thing you did for the night. You didn't have to have a phone to communicate with people. You got out there and socialized and had the place. It was hands-on, wasn't it?
It was, and you always had the waitress come out to your car and
car hop. Remember they used to call it? Yeah. Were they always on roller skates or just sometimes?
We had no roller skates till what's the one that came?
Yeah, the Sonic. I guess.
Sonic.
Now. Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know back in the day if they had the skates or not.
But you were in life was good when you drive all the way from Swansboro up 24 to go to the drive-in.
That's right.
Yeah. And one of the lines in American Graffiti, the guy that raced the Deuce Coupe, was John Milner, says sometimes you a whole tank of gas that's going up and down the strip. Those days have passed though. Cars are more efficient, but still, gas costs way too much to do a whole tank of gas in one night.
Well, I started selling cars in February of 1976, and that's when there was kind of a gas crunch. So I remember. I remember we were trading for all those muscle cars. You think about it, and you had those, Chevelles and Camaros, and then you had your Challengers and Chargers and your Mustangs and your Corvettes and your Dusters and all those muscle cars back then. And gosh, if you had just known and had a warehouse where you could have put a bunch of those in, what they'd be worth today. But that was, an interesting time in the car business.
Well, my dad and his brothers raced a Plymouth Belvedere, called it Underdog. But my dad had a car that there's always that one car that you wish you'd never let go. And his was a '69 Charger. And at the time, had kids and, a two-door car wasn't the thing and probably let it go for under $1,000 back then. But man, if he could have put it in the garage, that thing would be worth some bucks nowadays. Those are hard to come by.
Well, the thing back then too, everybody could work on a car.
Yeah, you knew how to work on it.
That's exactly right.
You did not have to have a computer. You didn't have to have chips. Of course, you had AM, FM radio, if you're lucky, and and the guys could always tinker with their cars.
Yeah,
they could adjust carburetors. They could do all sorts. They could change their own oil and spark plugs and everything.
You had a little room to work in there too, even with the big motors.
That's right.
Now there's so much in there, and you got to have you got to be a rocket scientist and a engineer to plug the first thing you do is plug the computer in nowadays.
Yeah, that's right.
So it's just changed a lot.
I'd have been lost when I used to come up to Jacksonville, go to move or something. I drive.
Yep.
Really?
Yes, and it just had it did not like Jacksonville.
Did it start to sputter when it get here?
I'd get to a red light, and the thing would cut off. I couldn't get. You got a date in your car. You got to get out. You got to get in your trunk. You got to get a cup of gas. Go in, take the breather off, pour it in the carburetor.
Wow.
Crank it back up, and then hopefully nobody wanted to beat your butt before you could get out of the stoplight.
Oh, you couldn't do that nowadays with the traffic, could you?
No.
Oh no.
Road rage.
Well, what was the first car you remember buying from here? Do you remember which one it was?
From National Dodge?
National Dodge.
Yes, I bought this Sahara Jeep. Waited for 3 years to buy a Jeep.
Really?
I wanted a Jeep forever. I don't know what. It was just one of those things that got ingrained in my. I just liked the look. I liked the way it I just wanted a Jeep. And so we came in here and we bought the Sahara. It's about 8 years ago. And the Sahara led to a Wrangler, and the Wrangler led to a Grand Cherokee, and then the Grand Cherokee led to another Grand Cherokee.
So it sounds like you're more of a Jeep man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you, once I got caught in a couple snows visiting my daughters out
Yeah.
of state, 4 years ago, New Year's, we were coming back, got caught in 12 inches of snow leaving Virginia. A 4.5 hour drive, took 11.
Yeah.
But the thing went.
Yeah.
I was going around people. It was a Grand Cherokee. And I got hooked. I said, good.
That makes a big difference.
So when you got daughters in Tennessee and daughters in Virginia, and you got susceptible getting in bad weather, I count on my Jeep to get me home, and it did.
Well, over the years, and it doesn't necessarily have to be one you bought here, but we were talking about cars. Over the years, if you had that one car you could have back, what would it be that you owned? And if you want to think about it a minute, I can go to Harry and let him.
Yeah, you better.
Now, Harry's had several, but
No,
if there's that
no.
one that you've let go, maybe when you were younger, that you could have back, what would it be?
Well, I can tell you it's easy. When I was 16, my very first car I bought was from Pelletier Ford in Maysville. It was a 1968 Ford Torino
I
GT
remember this.
fastback,
Yeah.
and
So it had like the slope back to
yep,
it.
and you see very few of those cars today.
Oh no.
It was a white car with a black interior, black bucket seats in it, and
That's
no air, by the way, in '68.
No. We
And
didn't.
but yeah, if I could have that any car back, it would be that one.
Now, you've seen the movie Gran Torino with Clint Eastwood, probably.
Yes.
What is it comparable to that car he had, or is
Yeah.
his a little newer?
It's a little newer.
Yeah, I thought his was
Yeah.
maybe in the '70s. Yeah, but still the general thing there. Do you remember you were talking about cars with no air? Do you remember the I know you do the little windows, the little triangle shaped windows that you could turn,
Yes.
and they
Oh,
would
yeah.
actually face the wrong way, so it sucked air in.
Oh yeah,
What do they call it? Your air was
those little vent
air
windows.
conditioning.
two windows
Yeah.
at 55 miles an hour. That was your air conditioner back
Well,
then.
you were air conditioned by Mother Nature.
Yeah, it was.
Mhm.
It would quickly and briskly air condition you. Now, if you had your date over there with her hair all nice and fixed, that might not have been. Miss Lisa might not have liked that kind of blowing her hair around, has she? But
But you know, back then, that's just the way it was. You know, nobody really thought much of it at the time.
it's so weird because I love riding with the windows down.
I do
If it's
too.
not 109 degrees or 40 degrees,
Yeah.
I love to have the window down.
And the other thing too, we didn't have bucket seats, so your date was always able to sit
Yeah.
right beside you.
That's right. That's exactly right.
You know me, Harry. You know I love the Andy Griffith Show. I was on Mayberry trivia contests and stuff, and one of the things I see on a lot of the websites, they ask why do they park and slide over and get out on the other side? Well, back then it was a bench seat, and a lot of times when you parked, you didn't get out on the street. You slid over and got out on the passenger side. The old squad car that they had. There just aren't many like that anymore.
No, it's amazing how things have changed, and I've told people when I first started selling cars, I started at Moore Buick and Pontiac selling cars, and we didn't have a single new car that stickered for over $10,000.
Wow.
The most expensive car was an Electra 225, and the sticker was about $9,200 on it. So,
And that was the top of the line, wasn't
and that
it?
was top of the line. You couldn't get any nicer car than that car at the time.
And what year was that?
That was in 1976.
Now, if I've talked about cars y'all owned, you like to have back. If you could get a DeLorean right now with a flux capacitor and 1.21 gigawatts, and go back to any time and buy a car brand new, do you have a certain one you would want?
You talk about DeLorean. Believe it or not, I sold a new DeLorean.
Really?
I did. Moore Buick. We had
How did
DeLorean.
they get a DeLorean?
We had DeLorean. We had the franchise
didn't
for
know
a
that.
short time, and we didn't get. But it seems like we only got 3 or 4 in. We never got many of them.
Yeah.
But I actually sold one of them.
Really? How much did a DeLorean go for, and what year was that?
Gosh,
It had to be the 80s.
it was
right?
in the 80s,
Yeah.
and I honestly I cannot remember exactly.
What would you say?
the
Maybe
price was.
it under 20
Uh,
for the 80s? Probably.
probably in that range.
Yeah.
It'd be my guess. Yeah.
Yeah. And were all of them stainless? Was there any other color?
No, they were
All
all
of
the
them
same.
stainless.
They were all stainless.
Well, of course, that's why Doc Brown wanted it, because going through time and everything, it didn't hold ice like that.
Mm-hmm.
But what about you, Ron? If you could go back and buy brand new, like if you just pop back there and buy it and bring it to today, What would you buy?
I like that. I think it was a '65 Chevelle SS396,
Mm-hmm.
and
Thing
it
would move,
was
wouldn't
I plugged Jimmy Corbett. He had it, and his dad was doctor at Swansboro, took care of all the athletes and everything back in the early days. And he come cruising up to get on the ferry to go to the Emerald Isle one Saturday, and he had that black and yellow with the louvers in the
Oh,
hood
nice.
and
Yeah.
the 5-speed Hurst transmission. And it was just absolutely, that just stuck in my mind ever since. It's
Yeah.
just,
Well, all cars are fuel injected now. Are there any cars carbureted anymore? Not new, of
No.
course.
Oh, no.
Not new, of
Not
course.
I
But
doubt very seriously.
a lot of the race car drivers, when they do race cars, had rather have the carburetor. Still some of the circuits and stuff. But you remember the difference? Some of them old cars, when you pop that 4-barrel, you could just about see the hood suck in because it sucks so much air. That's what everybody used to say. He
Oh,
said,
yeah.
I hit it and the darn hood sucked down on me.
Well, remember the old Pontiac had a 3 deuces
Yeah.
when they would come out stock. It had it,
Mm-hmm.
and they would run. Boy, things would just take off and go. Wide track down Pontiac.
We mentioned Hemi earlier today. If you had one of those Road Runners or
Yeah, the Roadrunner.
with that Hemi engine in it today, oh gosh, be worth a fortune.
Now, have you ever been up to the Richard Petty Museum in Randleman?
I have not been.
You need to go, man. Sometime coming through there. The only bad thing is they're always closed on Monday. So when we go to Panthers games, we're going right by. They're coming up. We go down by 74 and come back the other way just to see different scenery. Me and my dad, and I would love to have him stop in there. Excuse me, and see that. I didn't pull anything out, did I? Sorry. I would love to have him stop in there and see it, but they're always closed on Monday. But I've gone one time. They got the car. Remember that he barrel rolled at Daytona, and when they put it in the showroom, some dirt came down from one of the quarter panels, and they just left it right there. So it's still got that Daytona dirt sitting there. It's almost like fine sand now. But if you ever get a chance, check it out. I don't even know if they charge admission. But the beauty of it, too, is every now and then you go up there and Richard's there.
Well,
if it's off time.
Well, when I was in the Senate, one of my senator friends was good friends with Richard Petty. And Richard Petty actually did fundraiser for him. And but I had another senator, Don East, who has passed away now. But Don East had bought a Challenger from me.
Yeah.
No, I think it was a Charger. It was a Charger from me with the high performance Hemi in it. Well, he went to Richard Petty's house, and he wanted Richard Petty to sign his car.
That's pretty neat.
And,
I'm sure he did it too.
So he had a Sharpie, and Richard Petty signed above the door, on his car. And my senator friend takes the Sharpie back and walks over to Richard Petty's car and signs Don East above his above his door. And,
he wasn't going to be outdone.
So he wasn't going to be outdone.
He obviously knew Richard pretty well.
Everybody cracked up on that one.
Well, we went down to Talladega one year. My buddy Mike Leary was good friends with Rick Humphrey, who was the vice president at Talladega for a while. So we got the nice seats. They were still outside. This was before all the boxes, but it was that little row between the two levels and just great seats. And we had pit passes. And of all the people in the pit area, a lot of the drivers were, a little aloof and a little standoffish. But of all the people in there, Richard Petty, when he walked by us, he said, "Hey, King, can we get our picture with you?" Sure. He stood there and talked to us for a couple of minutes. And finally, but he said it in the best way. He said, "Look, boys, I got to get working on the car. Appreciate you." He never was rude or standoffish. He was just always Richard was the fans' driver, wasn't
he? He was, no question.
I've heard several people say that, anything, they asked for autographs, whatever. And I remember Richard Petty's quote one time. He said, "The easiest thing in the world to do is be nice to people." And he realized that those fans were the ones paying his meal ticket.
Bills, that's right.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And the reason we got on that whole thing was talking about the Superbird and some of those cars. Remember some of the cars that they put out? About half of them would end up getting banned because they're too fast. The Superbird was the one with the real sharp nose, probably the first aero car there was.
And had the real tall fin on the back.
Fin on the back, like a big U almost.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, one of the boys had one in Swansboro.
Did he?
Believe it or not. Yeah, a blue one.
Superbird. And I bet one of those would be worth some bucks.
Oh,
right
yeah,
now,
those cars now, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 cars now.
Well, I see Hollywood pulling out the thing. Are we ready to go to a break? We can take a quick one, come back and talk some more. As long as Harry can stay with us. We'll take our first break on Sports Talk. We'll be right back here from National Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram on 17 North.
Chris Raynor on Freedom 97.1 WSME.
Hey, good morning. Welcome back to Sports Talk. I'm your host, Chris Raynor. We're here at National Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram at 2223 North Marine Boulevard here in Jacksonville for their big 50th birthday celebration today. Stuff will kick off around 11 o'clock. Between 11 and 4, they're going to have all kinds of prize giveaways. They'll have food. They'll have door prizes, all kinds of good stuff. And we have Ron Holtzford joining us today as guest host. Thank you, Ron.
It's my pleasure to be here, guys. It really is.
Did you enjoy that trip down memory lane where we had talked about those cars and stuff? Had Harry Brown here. He's going to check back in with us in a little bit.
I still think about those, how cars were tied to your memories back in the day.
Oh, yeah, still are. I mean, there's the cars that just set off certain, you may have had a certain girlfriend at the time or a certain place you used to go with it, where you used to work, all kinds of different things. Probably the one that I had that I'd like to have back more than any is I had a 74 Mustang, Mustang 2 Mach 1. It wasn't. It was a V6, which was the Bumblebees they called them back
Bumblebees,
then. But I just loved the setup of that car and the whole look of it. And you don't ever see any of those out anymore. So that's a rare body style nowadays.
And my brother bought him a 71 or 72 Plymouth Duster.
Yeah, there was the Duster and the what's the other version of it? The Demon. Were very close. And a Duster, if you had a Demon.
All about the Demon.
Well, if you had a Demon, you said, no, that ain't a Duster, it's a Demon. If you had a Demon, you said, hey, a Demon, that's a Duster. So both of them were mighty proud of. They looked almost identical, though, the body style. If you love that kind of nostalgia, things that take you back, WSME is proud to announce that Eastern Carolina radio favorite Wayne Carlisle will be joining the Freedom 97.1 WSME team later this month with his brand new show. It's called Saturday at the Beach. It'll air on Saturday afternoons from 2 to 7 p.m. exclusively at WSME. Get ready for the ultimate coastal soundtrack featuring artists like the Carolina Honeydrops. Remember them?
No, I don't.
The Embers, of course. Band of Oz, Jim Pick and Coastline Band, and more. Learn more and connect with Wayne at WSME971.com. And we'll see you at the beach when he starts that show later this month. And I don't want to give the other connections, too. Basically now, Hollywood's got a setup where everything runs off the website. So that's the best place probably to start. They're on the World Wide Web. Visit WSME971.com, and you can listen to all the live Sports Talk streams. You can click to our YouTube and Facebook pages and catch up on today's show and years of archived Sports Talk episodes. And if you missed the show today, you can find full episodes and highlights on YouTube. Just search WSME Radio there on YouTube. Our studio sports hotline, which doesn't help you today. We're not in the studio. We're live and on the scene here. As they used to say in the radio world. But always connect now at WSME971.com. We were just talking about Wayne Carlisle. You remember Wayne?
Oh, yeah, Wayne Carlisle.
He's coming to WSME. Going to do a Saturday 2 to 7 beach music type show.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Well, you mentioned something just a second ago that brought back a memory, too. The Band of Oz.
Band of Oz.
In 71 or 72, Coastal Carolina had a dance, and we had booked the Band of Oz, and every one of them were still in high school. Their parents had to bring them down here to set up the play.
The band was still in high school?
Yes.
Son, you were getting them early on, weren't you?
Yeah, how about that?
and they were great.
Oh, yeah, still are.
Yeah.
Some of the members, I'm sure, have changed over the years. It's like
Coastal was over on Georgetown, in Georgetown at that time, wasn't it?
That we had one building, we had one building on Western Boulevard.
So Coastal Carolina started on Georgetown Road? I didn't realize that.
Yes, old Georgetown High School.
Wow, yeah. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, I took a few classes there before I went to college.
It's grown now, hasn't it?
Oh, yeah.
David Heatherly, doing a good job over there. Talked to him, and I'm a little partial to him, too. I'm real partial, and it's got a good place in our heart. And Coastal Carolina has been a lot to Onslow County because there's so many kids, including both of mine. Can you set that back up there? I knocked it down. Both of mine started at Coastal, and I'm not ashamed to tell you that saved us a lot of money.
Oh yeah, that's exactly right.
My daughter, she started there and went to UNCW, and she had got accepted to UNCW early on, but she wanted to stay here a couple of years, and it really helped her because she got the 2-year foundation and then went over there. My son, he's a little different because he went to go to state and be an engineer, so we didn't realize at the time, but some of his classes didn't transfer, so it wasn't as smooth a transition. But if we'd have known at the time, we could have got that rectified. But we're going to talk about state here in a minute because I got some ACC stuff for you. But we're real proud of both of them, and that's just my dad moment there.
Before you get away from Coastal Carolina, a lot of people probably don't remember that we at one time had sports.
Oh yeah,
yeah, that's
it's
right.
coming back from what I understand.
I hope so. Every time I see David Heatherly, I always say, "Hey, Bob, where's that physical education complex we're supposed to have out here?" He baseball, and I
Tennis.
coached and golf.
Yeah.
And I coached their first soccer team. We had 2 years. I coached the men's soccer there.
Where'd you play the games at for soccer? Just like Jacksonville or somewhere?
We had a soccer field.
Oh, I didn't realize
beside
that.
the old Ragsdale, behind the old Ragsdale building.
There's probably a building on that land now, isn't there?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And at one time, since I was doing both high school and community college, I would have my boys practice at Western Boulevard, and then right after that, I'd have the community college guys come out and practice them. And we had a good season. We played about probably 16, 17, 18 games a season there. But two teams was just too much for me, so I gave it up on the third year and let another guy coach it and just stayed with the high school team.
Well, I had talked to David a couple of times. We had him at a remote for something he was doing with the chamber and everything. And he says he thinks they're coming back. I think they're going to start with intramurals and then try and get like some, competitive type teams going.
Well, there's still plenty of community colleges around that have sports.
Yeah,
they sure are. Yep.
And
I know Lenore,
Pitt, yeah.
Oh yeah,
Pitt for sure.
Lenore and Pitt are both known for their baseball and softball
Southeastern was big.
Cape Fear.
Yeah, I mean, they could get a schedule. They could get some games.
Oh yeah.
We also played some of the Marine teams.
Well, there's several, like you said, within an hour's range. Newbern, Craven Community College.
Yeah.
Yes, it wouldn't be hard to do. So hopefully, I say it wouldn't be hard to do. You don't just poof and it happens. There's got to be some logistics. But with all the community support, places like National Dodge, the things you guys have done for the community, I don't know of any high school that hadn't benefited from you guys. The East Coast Invitational, all the different things that go on. You guys just have your hand in so much stuff. And this is our moment to thank you you're thanking the community for what they've done for y'all, but this is our moment to thank you for what you've done to the community. Stuff like that is awesome.
Well, you got to get back to the community if you're going to be a part of it. And, we've always tried to do that. I know I've been active in the community for a long time, and a lot of my people have as well. And, but you're supposed to do that, That's what it means to be part of a community.
That's the whole point of being here, yeah.
Yeah. And, we're just glad we can do that and give back where we can. And wish we could do more sometimes, but you got limited funds you can work with, but we try to do as much as we can for sure.
Exactly.
Well, I remember back being I wasn't the booster president Southwest then, but I was helping with some stuff, and we need a new scoreboard. And Harry was a senator then, and I didn't really know you then. I mean, I'd met you a few times, but I was working in young families, so I just wasn't into the local stuff as much. Well, somebody said, go see Harry Brown. I bet he could help you get started on that scoreboard project. Next thing I know, Harry had printed the raffle tickets for us. You guys sold a ton of tickets through here, and next thing I know, we had $20-some thousand raised for a scoreboard at Southwest. We used to have the old bulb scoreboard, and I did joke with Phil and everything, before we passed, and our other coaches, Coach Dempsey and Coach Garvey. Since then, I said, since we got rid of that bulb scoreboard, we ain't won a state championship.
Speaking of Phil, I'm just amazed that he has not been up for Hall of Fame.
The Jacksonville Sports Commission Hall of Fame?
No, state. NCH.
I thought he already was.
NCHSAA. I don't think so.
Well, I need to check with some of that.
I was just talking with his wife about 4 weeks ago about
I didn't realize that. I thought he was already in it.
I think.
Are you sure he's not in it?
According to Kathy, no, I don't think so yet.
I'll check on that and see.
Because we need to.
Somebody needs to get with Q up there and get that started.
I called it there 4 weeks ago and inquired about that.
Yeah.
And he's not, of course, on the 2026 one, and so I don't know how early or what we.
Well, yeah, that needs to be rectified.
I totally agree.
I agree on that. Yeah.
Same thing with here. Well, on a national scale, you got Bill Belichick, not a first-time Hall of Famer. I don't care whether you liked him or not. With his credentials, he should have been a no-brainer. Ricky Morton, best golfer probably ever to come out of Onslow County, not in the Sports Commission Hall of Fame. Is just we got to get the vote out there and get to the voters, just like you do with elections, and educate people on what he's done for golf here in Onslow County.
Well, I hope
have you got a timetable where you have to leave us? Because I want to talk some things with you before you go.
I mean,
You got a few more minutes.
I got a few more minutes.
Well, let's jump right
into it. It's a little
into
crazy today, but that's okay.
Let's jump right into it with an easy subject to fix: basketball and football and college athletics. First of all, let's look at the ACC standings. Duke 11-1. Their only loss was to Carolina last Saturday, and I know Lisa is a Duke fan, right?
Yeah,
Your wife.
she's always been kind of a Duke fan, and she doesn't really know why.
And you're a state guy.
Yeah, I went to state, so I'm a state guy.
Do you ever have some tense moments between games?
Not too bad.
You don't let it ruin your marriage.
No.
So your cars around here, you don't have house divided with the two. Okay.
Nah.
Did you watch the Carolina Duke game last Saturday?
Watched every minute of it.
Great game in the finish. To be honest with you, Carolina didn't play that great to start with, and I'm surprised. Normally, it's the exact opposite. You've noticed that in the rivalry, normally Carolina will get out to a lead in the second half, and there was a couple of games in the last couple of years where Duke made up 8 or 10 points in the last couple of minutes, but this time they flipped the script and it went the other way.
Well, Duke's big guy found out with about 6 minutes to go, and that changed that whole game.
Oh, yeah.
Changed that whole game.
Was that Boozer?
No.
Or their big guy?
Yeah, the center for him.
See, now I was sitting there arguing with the TV the whole time. If I was Hubert Davis, when Boozer got that third foul, I'd have run at him every time. He'd have had to stop every single player going to the basket because try and get that fourth foul, But you're talking about the real big guy. I can't remember his last name, but kind of like a foreign sounding name. Yeah. So when he went out, that definitely opened the inside up a little bit.
It changed the game, I thought.
But Carolina, I'm a Carolina fan. You know that growing up. But they're notorious for missing those shots at the end of the game. But Trimble, he drilled that one. You could just tell by the form that he was just zoned in.
Well, they hit the three to cut it 3, and then the big guy hit the 3 to tie it. They're Carolina's big guy.
Yeah.
Which he hadn't taken a 3 all day.
He had a bad game.
So that that was a big shot to tie that game.
Well, I say he had a bad game. He had not had a productive game offensively. Yeah.
And then Boozer missed that little short shot.
Yeah.
Underneath, put Duke back up by 2, and then Carolina, wins it at the buzzer. But that's basketball. I mean,
basketball.
Especially when you got a rivalry game.
That's
like
why
that.
the rivalry is such a big thing.
Oh,
that's right.
And they can say what they want to. I mean, it's Michigan and Ohio State in football, but in college basketball, it's Duke and Carolina.
No question.
State and Carolina for years. I think that could come back. What do you think about State's coach now?
Well, I think Will Wade is going to, he's going to stir it up a little bit.
He has already,
no And like him or not, he's a little cocky.
Oh yeah.
And he's gonna. It's gonna be interesting to see how that plays out.
Yeah, sometimes that'll pass on to your players.
Yeah.
They get a little bit more enthusiasm, get a little bit more into it.
Confidence too.
Really, exactly. Really think about what they're playing for, what the history behind all this is, and it just changes the whole dynamics of the game.
Yeah.
Mentally, very important. The mental aspect.
What he's done with him kind of reminds me of 2 coaches, Herb Brooks and I can't remember the name of the coach, but the coach from Hoosiers. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
He breaks them down first, and then you start seeing results. Because remember, State started a little slow, and everybody's like, "Oh, we've done the wrong thing." But look how they've come on. They won what? 8 out of their last 10, 8 out of their last 9, something like that.
Well, they got spanked pretty good by Louisville.
The last game was it was a little bit of a letdown, but they had played great until then.
I almost made a mistake last week and put on my Duke sweatshirt after that game. I didn't even think about it.
Oh, well, see, my dad's a Duke fan. He's the exact opposite. When they lose to Carolina, he's wearing that Duke shirt. He wants somebody to challenge him so he can talk about them 5 titles and all that stuff.
I was a Duke fan back from 1963 on with Bob Berger and all those guys.
Oh, yeah. Hey, Bob Berger was all over my notebook growing up. Yeah, I was Bob Berger. Yeah, he was.
Yeah, no. And it just, I mean, we'd be down at the end of playing under the street light with the radio on, listening to the basketball game.
Yeah, you had Verga and Vasendek was his other guy.
Yes.
And so and then
was it Lou Vasendek? Was that his name?
Gosh, Vasendek.
Was Coach Vic Bubas the coach then?
Yeah, Bubas
was the coach. Yeah.
They played Michigan and Cassie Russell in the championship game a couple of times, I think, or in the semis anyway.
Man, I ain't heard that in a long time.
And Michigan had their number back then.
I forgot about him. Yeah.
Well, if you ever get a chance to see it, it's an old HBO documentary, and it's a little dated now because it ended about the time that remember when the Carolina student body president Eve Carson was murdered. That was about the end of it because that was the last thing they did on it. So they don't have the stuff that's happened since then. But before then, man, it was a treasure trove. Have you ever seen it before?
I have.
The Battle for Tobacco Road, I think it's called.
Tobacco Road, that's right.
And it was it basically started the rivalry like it was because of the fight. Remember the big fight in the game? and that's kind of what kicked it into high gear. Then you had the years before Coach K got there, and actually his first couple of years where they were down a little bit. From then on, it was on like Donkey Kong.
Well,
Just great rivalry.
Well, I went to NC State when they won the championship in '74. I was at NC State then with David Thompson and Burleson and Towle and Stoddard and Rivers was starting five. And but David Thompson, in my mind, is still as good a college player as there's ever been.
Oh, yeah.
And,
no doubt.
I mean, he was unbelievable. And
when you think of players like that, he's one that comes to mind. Tyler Hansbrough as being a better college. Phil Ford, ones like that.
I just remember the cardiac pack.
Yeah, that was in '83. Yeah,
83,
and that was a phenomenal end to that.
Oh, yeah.
That run. I mean, great day in the morning. They probably were. Where were they in the ACC at that time?
Oh gosh,
they were middle of the pack.
Yeah, middle of the pack. Had to win the tournament to get in.
Well, here's the thing.
Had to win the ACC tournament to get into the tournament.
Then they won the whole thing.
Yeah.
What got them in, and I remember that run like it was yesterday. What got them in was not got them in, but what got them on that run was the semifinal game against Carolina.
Yeah.
Carolina's up, and State just comes storming back. If they lose that game, though, they don't make that run.
Yeah,
they don't even make the tournament.
And then they beat Virginia in the championship.
Yeah. Still had Ralph Sampson. Yeah.
I just remember that sign that boy had in the bleachers when the panned around the TV. It said, "No overtime. My tractor's double apart."
Oh, that's a good one.
I would have loved to have had. I don't even know if they did frequent flyer miles, but I'd have loved to have their frequent flyer miles. Remember, they were stuck out in the West once they did make the tournament.
Oh, they played Pepperdine and should have lost that game.
Had that game lost.
And that's when Valvano decided to start filing with about a minute to go.
Yep.
And they kept missing free throws, and State somehow tied it and got it in overtime and won it.
Well, you're a basketball aficionado. Let me pick your brain on this, you too. They've changed the foul rule. They really, in my opinion, screwed it up in high school. I think it's 5 fouls in a quarter now.
Yes,
you go automatic two
shots.
shots.
Exactly.
I would love to see it go back just like it was. 7 fouls, go to 1 and 1.
1 and 1.
Don't even go to the 2 at the double bonus, they call it. Put that emphasis back on shooting free throws. Kids can't shoot free throws. I saw a game last night, Southwest and Clinton, where either team would have won if they'd have made the free throws.
Well, personally, I think high school needs to go to 2 halves.
Yeah, and not even worry about the quarters or the periods.
And I know, in college they're 20-minute halves, but you can make them 16-minute halves or
15.
whatever it is.
There is one change they made that I like. It's doing away with jump ball, just go to rotation.
Yeah,
I agree with that too.
Possessions, yeah.
I mean, that jump ball situation would drag the games.
Oh, yeah.
Every time you had to stop, set up, go to jump. And
put a lot of pressure on the official, too, tossing that ball.
Yeah, and kids nowadays don't even understand that we used to have. They just know we got rotating possession. And I said, don't you know why all those 3 circles used to be in the front? No. We actually used to have to jump every time there was a jump ball.
Yeah, because a lot of people don't know what the circle's for around the
No,
and they still do it in the NBA though. Yeah. I think they still do jumps. Now you talked about that game against Pepperdine, that magical run, the cardiac pack started fouling early, but back then it was just 1 and 1.
That's right, it was 1 and 1.
Gone to the double bonus.
It was 1
and that's what propelled them to that championship because they were able to come back. You start missing some free throws, and man, that rim starts looking like the ones you used to shoot at the fair. Remember, the rim was about that big, and the ball was about that big. So all of a sudden, it's a different ball game.
Well, that's when the foul became so important in the final 3 minutes to try to get them to miss that 1 and 1.
That's right.
You had a good chance to get it back. Now with 2 shots, you're going to at least give up 1, but not.
Well, and I know what I'm about to say sounds like what old people say all the time, but in my opinion, that was the golden era of the ACC. 8 teams, even Duke's early championships and Carolina's, but the 2 state championships. At one time, I remember it was like in the last 40 years, going back to 74, so it had to be around 14, I guess. In that 40-year period, there had been, 1/3 of the national championships were won by State, Carolina, or Duke. 3 schools you could throw a blanket over. Isn't that amazing?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, that's just the thing up there.
Well, think about the 3-point shot, what it's done to the game. I mean, when I was in high school, we didn't have a 3-pointer,
Shot clock.
Yeah, and shot clock, it's done to the game.
That was, I think, necessary because of the,
4 corners.
Oh, yeah.
Well, 4 corners, and that one game where it ended up being 8-7 at halftime. It was Carolina and Duke.
Well, what was
1-0 at halftime one time.
That's right,
yeah. Just went to the stop.
12-10 games back then. You just hold the ball.
Well, everybody, I know, and the people and the fans, I don't know if they liked it or not, but it did. It
Yeah.
really took away a lot from playing whenever you could freeze the ball for so long.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It kind of made it a yawner sometimes, but you get the right guy running the four corners, and it was over.
You ain't lying.
I only remember one game that Phil Ford had
Oh, yeah,
lost.
Phil
and that was
Ford. Nobody was as good at it as he was.
the game against Marquette. They went a little early.
Oh,
Dean
Marquette.
pulled
Oh, my
the trigger
gosh.
a little
Al
early.
McGuire.
Yeah,
I never did like Marquette.
and Al McGuire never liked Carolina. He didn't like the ACC, to be honest with you, because I think he lost to State, hadn't he?
Well, you think about it. State beat Marquette for the championship,
Right.
and but nobody knows that. They think about beating UCLA in the
UCLA.
semifinals.
No, I remember that. That's what I thought that they
Yeah.
had beaten
Now
in
that-
74.
Now you mentioned something that brought back bad memories. Being a Carolina kid, being stationed in the Navy in California, most of my kids on my ship was from California, and you're talking about how great North Carolina State, Duke, Wake Forest, everybody, Tobacco Road,
Yeah.
and then they pull up the Wizard of Westwood,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
and look what
6 or 8
UCLA did.
in a row, 8, 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was,
Back in the '60s. Yeah, they early '70s they dominated.
Well,
Yeah.
you
Who was the team?
couldn't win an argument about who's best then.
Nope. You sure
Who was the
couldn't.
team that ended that streak? Was it Notre Dame?
Notre Dame ended a streak they
They
had
had
for a long
60
time.
some games or something like that. Yeah.
Dantley, I think, was playing for Notre Dame
Yep,
at the time.
Adrian
Dantley.
Yep.
That's right.
Well, you talked about the 3-pointer being one of the big changes, and it obviously is. Do you remember the first 3-pointer in ACC? It was inside the top of the key by about that much. That's how short it was. You don't think Derek Whittenberg would have loved to have
Oh
that
gosh.
when he was shooting it?
Oh, those kids today would just kill it.
Well, the year Michael Jordan came to play against Jacksonville, he
That from Laney?
no dunk,
Yeah.
no 3-pointer.
Oh, I didn't realize that then.
Oh,
yeah, that's right. No dunk. When State won that
No.
championship in '74, you couldn't dunk it.
And
How many dunks would David Thompson have had?
Oh,
Lord have mercy.
Just skied above everybody.
And you sit there and watch him play. And the first half, he played just like team ball. And everybody was saying, "Well, what is this? What good?" That's one of them overrated things. Overrated. And,
Overrated.
and then the second half, he came out and he's just smoked him. And I asked the kid that was guarding him. I said, well, I didn't ask him. I heard him say, he said, first half, I thought I did pretty good. The second half, all I saw was his navel.
All right, well, we're here at National Dodge, 2223 North Marine Boulevard. We're going to take our second break, and we'll come back with Harry Brown and Ron Holtzford and reminisce some more and talk about some of the ills in sports now.
we'll talk about some of those Swansboro teams in the '60s.
This is Sports Talk with Chris Raynor, where the games, the teams, and the talk come together. Freedom 97.1 and 1120 AM WSME.
Hey, welcome back to Sports Talk. I'm your host, Chris Raynor. We're here at National Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram up here on Highway 17 North, Marine Boulevard, 2223 Marine Boulevard North. They got a big shindig going on today, the 50th birthday celebration. We have Harry Brown with us and Ron Holtzford as our guest today, talking about reminiscing some of the things. We've talked about everything from cars to basketball, and we're going to hit all the points in between here shortly. Kicking off about 11 o'clock, between 11 and 4 will be a big celebration. Food will be out here. You'll have some prize giveaways, some entertainment, all kinds of good stuff. Are you going to sing today?
I wouldn't count on that.
We can get together a band if you want to scrub one off or two.
I'd like to hear that.
What does they say? You sing solo, they can't hear you. But big doings going on here. Make sure you stop by today. All kinds of stuff to see. Cars, older cars, newer cars, race cars. And they would probably take a break from the festivities to sell you a car if you're ready to buy one.
Yeah, we'd probably sell a car.
Probably make that work. We can make that happen. We were talking about ACC basketball when we left. We're going to jump into the Olympics real quick before we get back to college sports. Have you watched any of the Olympics?
Yeah.
Much going on?
No, I'm sorry to say I haven't.
I have, and that little speed skater for for the USA is unbelievable.
He won't get as many as Eric Heiden, but yeah, he's fast because
He's fast.
It's not set up like it used to be. I don't know if you listened to the show last week or not. We had Michael Ruzioni on there called all the way from Winthrop, Massachusetts. And of course, my huge Olympic moment that I always remember is the 1980 Miracle on Ice.
Right.
You were just
I remember that.
6 or 8 years old at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I wish
we're sitting there, and you're home, and back you had 3 channels, and it seemed like TV was better then. You only had 3 channels, but it was more good stuff to watch. I guess it was compressed into just the good stuff.
As long as you didn't have to go outside and turn the antenna.
That's right.
No, you did.
Yeah.
We still had to do that every now and then because 12 and 7 just didn't come in on the same angle somehow. But
old channel master, turn the antenna a little bit. Yeah.
And then somebody got highfalutin in one of those remote control things.
I was the channel master.
Yeah,
I had to go out.
Well, where our antenna was, we had the 3-person setup. The one turning, the one at the corner relaying the message to stop.
Yeah. We just opened the window and yell.
Well, honestly, our antenna was by a window, so you could open the window and turn it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
No, we were just a little bit arm's reach away from the window, but we could get the communications right.
That antenna that looked like Chinese hieroglyphics out there, But we were talking about on the Olympics. The men's hockey team started yesterday. And won convincing fashion over Latvia.
Yep.
You travel extensively. Have you ever been to Latvia?
I have not.
It's somewhere over there near Norway in that general area. The men's hockey team is projected to win a medal, hopefully gold. It looks like Canada's probably, in talking to Ruzioni, the captain of the 80 team last week, he said it looks like Canada's 1A and we're 1B. Right there together. So a good chance to win a medal, hopefully win gold again. Yeah. It's been since 1980 since the Americans won gold in hockey.
Oh, do you believe in miracles?
Yep.
Al
that
Michaels. Quote. Yep.
One of the greatest calls in sports history.
That's right.
There's those iconic calls you remember. Down goes Frazier. Howard Cosell.
That's right.
Oh yes.
Cleveland the Giants win the pennant. That iconic call. There's just certain ones you remember. But that was definitely, in my opinion, that's the top sports moment in U.S. history. Just because of not just the hockey game, but because of what was going on with the two countries, the Cold War.
Who we beat.
That's right.
You had talked about the gas crunch in the late 70s. This country was in low cotton at that time.
Oh, yeah.
And if anybody grew up on a farm knows what low cotton means, it's not a good time. And it was one of those uplifting moments that I'd love to see this country have another one like that.
That was so much for national pride.
That's right.
Oh, yeah.
That really
People
was.
that didn't even know anything about hockey.
Oh, yeah.
Got into it. Got behind it. It was just a very stimulating event for Americans to whip up on the Ruskies.
And that was one of the iconic thing about Al Michaels' intro. It was just about as iconic as the Do You Believe in Miracles? He said, "You may not know the difference between a blue line or a clothesline. It's irrelevant.
Yeah.
This is the USA versus the Soviets." And he was just
And it didn't matter what.
He still can deliver the goods.
It didn't matter what sport was on.
Yeah.
When you were playing a communist bloc country,
especially the Soviets.
Especially the Bear. That's right.
So I was looking at some of the pairings. There's a Czechia team and a Slovakian team. So I assume that was the old Czechoslovakia
Slovakia.
divided. It's just different than it was back then, but man, it would be a big deal for the U.S. to win a gold this year.
And you never knew what was going to happen when the East German women got steroids they were on before.
They look scary, some of them.
The shot put, the discus, and the
Yeah.
javelin were going a little bit further than normal and for women's sports. But
Yeah, that was a different time too, before all the steroids.
you just and the judging, you knew
That's
good and well
right.
if you had a communist bloc judge
Yeah.
sitting on, it was going to be one number lower than everybody else's when the
True.
Americans were in it.
You're right about that. And that brings back a lot of memories of some of those competitions where the judging took place. Yeah.
Boxing,
Oh yeah, boxing for sure. Yeah,
Very
it was.
subjective sport.
but they were
Figure skating. We got a little controversy
oh yeah
right now going on. Yeah.
What's that? I didn't see that part.
Yeah, the American couple finished second, and there's a French judge that there's a little talk
controversy about that.
about.
You
Not,
just
not a big fan of America, apparently,
evidently not.
because his score was so much different than the rest of them, I guess.
Well,
Sad.
they see things a lot differently than we do.
Well,
No,
They see things through red, white, and blue colored glasses, but the red, white, and blue is a different flag.
But,
Yeah.
but you know, the most disappointing thing about this year's Olympics to me has been some of the quotes from some of the
Yeah.
Olympians about representing America.
America, exactly.
And
You know, it's almost the equivalent of
it's kind of sad, really.
it's
you
almost
know.
the equivalent of, say, an NC State player in his press conference saying, "Yeah, we're wanting to win this game and everything, but we don't like what's going on back in NC State." You know, type stuff. You don't do that. You know, you're there representing your country.
That's right.
And do the right thing. I just wish they'd leave the politics out of it. Just
The Mexican Olympics.
we were talking with Aruzioni last week, and he said he brought up one of the great quotes by Herb Brooks, who said, "When you put that jersey on, that means something." He says, and the name on the front means a hell of a lot more than the one on the back.
Exactly.
One of those quotes that just sticks with you, and you're playing for your team. You're not playing for yourself. You're not playing for political things. You're just supposed to be playing for America. So don't want to leave the women's hockey team out of it either. They're playing today at 2:10 or 3:10, I think it is, and starting the medal round. And they breezed through the preliminaries. They scored over 5 goals every game, and I think only gave up maybe 1 or 2 the entire time. So good news. This has kind of been our Hurricanes Watch segment, so we're a little more on the Olympic hockey stuff. But the Olympics will run for the next 2 weeks, and then the Hurricanes will be back in action somewhere at the end of I think it's February 25th is their next game. So the NHL's taking a little break, so we'll get back on the Hurricanes Watch then. We were talking about you played basketball at Swansboro, right?
Yes.
What were the years you were down there? Tell us about those couple of really good teams y'all had there.
Well, great. Swansboro during the early 60s pretty much led the conference in basketball.
Yeah.
65 was the year we went to the Final Four.
Now, who was your coach then?
Jim Parkins.
Okay. He was one of the ones that was recognized for something a while back, maybe Hall of Fame or something here.
I'm not sure.
Or am I thinking of a different? Okay, go ahead with what you're saying about the teams.
And it was just a magical year for the Swansboro basketball.
Yeah.
We had very few losses. I made 2. We lost to Newbern one time, revenge. Lost to Havelock one time, revenge, and they were a little bit bigger than we were at the time. I mean, we only had about 80 kids in my senior class.
Now, what were you guys ranking wise as far as 1A, 2A, 3A? 1A back then, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And it blows a lot of people's minds when you talk about the landscape of high school sports now. First of all, they've gone to 8 classes, which still, every time you tell somebody that Southwest is 4A, they're like, what?
I know.
But it's not the same 4A.
It's not the same 4A.
It's a half of 4A, basically. But there was a time where every team in Onslow County, Swansboro, Richlands, Dixon, Northside wasn't, they started out as 2A, but Southwest, all those were, Lejeune was 1A. And then you had White Oak and Jacksonville were the only 2 3A and 4A teams at the time.
Well, see, we didn't have any consolidated schools.
Yeah.
So every township had their own school.
Yeah.
And so you had many, many more 1A schools in the state than you did anything else.
Well, the difference now is, though, the township schools are getting huge because of all the people living there.
Everything's growing, period.
Now, Swansboro at one time, what was the highest Swansboro got before the reclass? 3A?
think so.
Yeah, never made it to 4A before the class. Now
No,
Swansboro's I think 5A. No, it might be 6A,
6A now, I
6A
believe.
now. Yeah. So it's weird when you say that stuff, but the area down towards the beach, Dixon and Topsail, both of those schools 10, 15 years ago were 1A.
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 Yes.
And now, right before they changed the classes, Topsail was 4A and Dixon was 3A. And Dixon was on the cusp of becoming 4A.
Well, I hate the fact that we're splitting the county with everybody. I think everybody, we should just be one big county conference.
One school? Oh, you mean the conference, yeah. Well, the thing is,
one school would have been good too. North,
well,
west,
at one time it just
north,
about
south,
was.
east, west, Onslow. I mean, you can imagine.
You heard of Richmond Senior High School in Richmond County?
Yeah.
One school.
Yeah.
It's too big to do that here in Onslow County, but I've heard a lot of people with the plan to consolidate the schools and make like bigger and have less schools, like maybe 4 bigger schools. But that'd be tough to do nowadays.
But the feelings of the administrations around here is that smaller is easier to.
Yeah.
Instead of having
better instruction.
Instead of having 4 large schools in the county, it's easier to govern.
Well, is there any talks of another high school coming?
I haven't heard it yet.
I haven't either. I know it blows my mind how many elementary schools, and you've been around the system a long time. What, we got 20-some elementary schools?
I think there's more than that.
And then they funnel into 8 middle schools, and then funnel into 7 high schools, essentially, because Lejeune's on the base.
Right.
So it makes you wonder how they go from those big numbers. And do we lose kids, or how does that work? To where the high schools just that much bigger?
Just keep adding trailers. No,
That's
they're
true.
not. They haven't done that in a long time, really.
Well, when they need to every now and then. And there was a proposal at one time. You had talked about having an Onslow County conference. The reason it got nixed at one time, from what I heard, was because you would have, say, a team like Halflock would be traveling through us to play teams in New Hanover County. When we're all our one entity, and that's why they won't do it.
I understand that.
I've heard that, and that's the best explanation I've heard.
Well, that's the reason why I didn't like those split 3A, 4A conferences.
No. What's even worse now that they went to 8 classes. Everything's split.
More state playoffs.
Well, but the problem is, though, I'm talking about the split conferences. Now you've got a lot of conferences with, and I believe Swansboro is the only 6A team in their conference, right?
I haven't checked, but
I think they are.
I think that might be right.
I think the rest are 5A. So if you're going to split them, at least kind of have it where it's an even number, you know.
That's one thing, getting out of the administration of sports when I was athletic director. You know, you kept up with every bit of those.
Oh, yeah, you had to.
And then since I retired in 2016, and I don't really get into the politics like I did or pay attention to it because there's so many other things you got to do now. But it's a very interesting concept of how they set things up and run them.
Well, when we come back, we're gonna take a quick break. When we come back, we're gonna do our This Day in Sports History segment, and then I want to talk a little bit more about your career and the different things you coached in. Be right back with Ron Holtzford here at National Dodge, here on Sports Talk.
Sports Talk with Chris Raynor, right here on Freedom 97.1 WSME.
All right, we're back here on Sports Talk live from National Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram up here on Highway 17 North. The actual address is 2223 North Marine Boulevard here in Jacksonville. Their big 50th birthday celebration today. It's going to kick off around 11 o'clock. We got the jump start on it to get you guys in tune to what's going on. They'll have food, prize giveaways, entertainment. Of course, they got the great Chris Hollywood man leading the show here at WSME.
Yeah.
Got us on the air to promote this stuff. So good times coming. Looking forward to it.
I love it.
I haven't had breakfast yet, so my ribs might start showing before 11 o'clock. If I get faint, will you just kind of bring me a plate so I can?
As my grandmother used to say, in the hills of Appalachia, the Appalachian Mountains, she used to get a sinking spell.
Yeah.
Lord, I'm getting a sinking spell.
My ribs are showing. That's what Barney called it on the Andy Griffith Show too. About 2 o'clock, I have my sinking spell.
Yeah.
All right, we have Ron Holtzford with us as a guest today. Thank you for being with us, Ron.
My pleasure. I've enjoyed this morning. It's a lot of fun.
Well, you're welcome to come any day, any Friday at 9 o'clock. Show up and man, we'll talk sports. Even if we got other guests, it's always good to have other people in to interject stuff. Like Harry sat with us for a while. And we talked about just the general stuff, and most times that's what is on people's minds. What you're talking about.
Well, that's what I like.
Yeah.
Just free flow, man.
Let it free.
Improv.
I totally agree. I mean, I hate being stuck in the one rut. I can run out of stuff to say quick.
Well, yeah, you just having a conversation here in this show, man. I love it. That's what this guy brings, just conversation.
Totally.
That's why I left the TV world. I was a big-time TV host, for NBC.
Oh, yeah, he was. Yeah.
And ESPN, and I just decided to leave that and come back to radio.
Yeah. They put him in a box. They said, you will say this, you will say this. He was like, I'm out of here.
Well, no, they said, you got a face for radio.
That's right. That's right.
You need to leave TV. Yeah, okay. No, I've never been on TV, so we're going to hit this day in sports history, all this stuff. And by the way, today is Friday the 13th. Which means absolutely nothing. It's the day before the 14th, day before Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day to everyone. I hope you were taking care of your wife tonight or tomorrow.
I heard on our morning show, Rick Dees this morning, and the Daily Dees, he said, if you get something for your sweetie, he said, don't just get a card, write a little handwritten something in there. Yeah. A little handwritten, and you make it special.
Yeah.
And it goes a long way. I don't know if that's true or not, but yeah.
Well, see, I made it personal, too. I got my wife flowers. I stopped by some lady's garden, and I saw nice roses and just clipped them. That way it was personal.
Oh, that was great. Was it Ron's yard?
No. It wasn't Ron's yard.
Y'all are making me feel bad. You haven't done anything yet.
I haven't either.
The beauty of this is it's only the 13th.
This is just.
You still got tomorrow.
This is just like Christmas. I buy everything the last second.
Yeah.
Look, I really think it's a kind of a commercialized holiday.
Oh, yeah.
A little overrated. But
no doubt.
My wife's not listening.
The floral industry, the card industry, they love Mother's Day and Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
Yep.
Anyway.
All right, we're going to jump on this day in sports history. All this stuff happened on a February 13th at one time or another. We'll lead off with 1932. Australia's Jack Crawford successfully defended his title at the Australian Championships, now the Australian Open. Crawford would go on to flirt with a Grand Slam just a few years later, one of tennis's early global stars. Were you a big tennis guy, Ron? You did every other sport.
Anything my wife can beat me in, I quit playing.
So you don't play putt-putt either?
No.
There's something about going to play miniature golf with your date, and there's something about the miniature golf they can do.
No, we went putt-putting one time. She beat me. I quit. Went out and played tennis one time. I got tired of chasing balls over the fence, so no, I quit.
That's hilarious.
All right, Ron, you got the next one.
1937, American figure skating icon Maribel Vinson won her 9th U.S. championship. 9, that was a record at the time. Absolute dominance on ice.
You're a big ice skater. Now you've been up, where they have more ice and stuff.
I busted my butt a few occasions on it.
Decided it wasn't for you.
No, I made good attempt at it. I like skiing better.
Yeah, but ice skating is different, man. You got to cinch those skates up, and you feel like you're on stiletto heels.
You got to work.
I feel like you have to have strong ankles, or maybe I didn't tie it tight enough to around my ankles.
Well, it probably makes muscles that you didn't realize you had quickly.
If you didn't, you realize it the next day.
Right. All right. 1952, the undefeated freight train known as Rocky Marciano knocked out Gino Buenovino. The second. Number 40, still perfect and he would retire still perfect. How about
Okay, they
that?
go. Every time we start talking about boxing, my guy can bring up Rocky Marciano. Joe Louis was 137 years old when he fought Rocky Marciano. One of the classic scenes from that movie.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
All right. You don't remember that movie, Coming to America?
I do. Yeah,
Oh, yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, great movie.
All right, 1953, Shibe Park in Philadelphia was officially renamed Connie Mack Stadium, what most people know it by back then, honoring the legendary manager Connie Mack, who shaped early professional baseball. A classic ballpark with a classic name. Those times back then, now Harry would really be able to talk on this because, Harry's a big card collector, and memorabilia. Oh, yeah, Harry's, you can show you some of his collectible cards and stuff, Babe Ruth stuff, all kinds of stuff. But when we were growing up, we knew about the generations before in baseball. I think the kids now, baseball players, don't know about the like the Reggie Jacksons and the ones like that. They just know more of the current guys. Don't you agree?
You know what? Baseball cards were good for us back in the day.
We stuck them in the spokes for our bikes.
That's right.
And we've talked. I'm glad you said that because I mentioned that many times on the show.
How many good ones I've lost?
How dumb were we? We should have gone and got a deck of playing cards and used those and stuck those trading cards in a box somewhere.
You know what though? That it's like that's what everybody did though, man. You guys were having fun. It was the thing you did, and it's all right.
Well, see, and now my wife says I hoard everything. So one day, all that crap in my man cave might be worth something, but I just wish I remember those basketball cards, the tall boys, the NBA cards and stuff from the 70s, and
I just wish
I'd have
I
kept
just remember
some.
getting a card saying a rookie player. Who cares about a rookie player?
Yeah, that's true.
But listen, do you remember any card that now would be worth a lot of money? Do you
I had a Harmon Killebrew at one time.
They wouldn't in your bicycle spokes?
Yeah.
I had a Dr. J card from the late 70s, early 80s. It was the tall ones that are worth so much now. I remember having that one. Who knows where it went?
Wow.
Anyway.
Matter of fact, I think we were cleaning out the attic not too long ago, and I think there is a stack of baseball cards still in there.
Well, if you want to, if you're going to toss them out, let me know, and I'll dispose of them for you.
I need to go.
He'll make a donation. He'll make a donation.
All right, Coach, you got the next one.
All right, 1976, at the Innsbruck Winter Olympics, American sweetheart Dorothy Hamill captured Olympic gold in women's figure skating, and yes, the Hamill haircut became just as famous as the medal.
Yep, she would spin, and that hair would it was perfect. That was a different cut back then. Trivia time. Does anybody know where Innsbruck is?
Austria.
Very good. That was the Olympics before the 80 Olympics, obviously. The Americans did good in that one, but the Soviets still won in hockey.
Yes.
And I remember Captain Ruzioni telling us that there was one player from the 76 team that made it to the 80 team. That's how different Herb Brooks took them in a whole new look. He didn't want the same stuff they've had for years. He took them in a whole different direction.
Clean house.
All right, Hollywood.
In 1977, Dr. J put on a show. Julius Erving was named MVP of the NBA All-Star Game, soaring above the rim in a classic Dr. fashion, style, grace, above the rim, artistry.
The first one we saw to jump from the free throw line and dunk it. And this was about that time I'm talking about when I had that card. I mean, that thing probably worth some bucks now.
Oh, yeah.
Dr. J was one of the first more flamboyant type players, more flair. Of course, Michael Jordan took it to a whole different level.
Right.
But I can see Jordan probably growing up idolizing Dr. J,
I might be wrong. It's been a long time, but I think his brother was in the Marine Corps station here at Camp.
Julius Erving?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Unless I got him confused with something.
It's very possible.
But
yeah, but he was definitely, and of course he started in the ABA, so he wasted a couple years towards his scoring total and all that stuff. All right, 1983, the Eastern Conference topped the West 132 to 123. That's tame now for All-Star games, isn't it? Now, All-Star basketball games are up in the 180s.
Yes.
In the NBA All-Star game, and yes, Julius Erving took home MVP honors again. So he had a little bit of a run there. The 70s and early 80s, Dr. J was the man. All right, Ron.
2011, Austria's Elizabeth Gorgel captured gold in the women's downhill at the FIS Alpine World Championship. Precision speed, no fear.
Now, you said you did like the snow ski, correct?
Yes.
When you said skiing, I didn't know if you meant behind a boat.
Like that, too.
Yeah. That was my joke when we would do unarmed self-defense training at the job I used to work at. And they'd make us do the warm-up exercises. They would tell you to do the skiing thing. So I would stand there like I was holding a rope and perfectly still. But so you were a big skier. You like the snow ski.
I really do.
You've seen some of the downhill runs. How in the world do they keep it on there? They are hitting perfect spots, and they are flying. I mean, it's like vertical.
Well, I think back to when I first started, like at Boone,
Uh-huh.
it'd take you 8 seconds to make a run.
Yeah.
You have to get back on the lift and go back
Start
up.
with the bunny slope and all that.
Then I went to snowshoe, and you actually felt like you were skiing.
Yeah.
But then my wife and my mother-in-law and brother-in-law, they all go out west
Yeah.
to the.
You never skied out west, Colorado or anything?
I quit flying.
Yeah.
That's why I joined the Navy. I can tread water a lot longer than I can fly.
It's just a whole different game when you see it in the Olympics, what they're doing. And then, of course,
The
the injury that
jumps.
Lindsey Vonn had
Oh,
a
yeah.
couple weeks ago. I think that had already happened before she fell, because I think that's what made her get
Fall.
off kilter, because of that injury. But it's just when you see those injuries, for years, you're talking about the jumps. For years, the Wide World of Sports, remember with Jim McKay, the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat. That guy was
classic.
so famous, and nobody really knew his name. But when he'd come off that jump, it looked like a Williams lumber truck had jackknifed in the middle of the highway, all this stuff flying everywhere. So
Don't you think Lindsey Vonn? I mean, her age to be doing that, like what's she 40?
ACL injury.
But she's thinking, hey, this is it, man. This is my last chance.
Yeah, and I think that's the only reason she got out there, even with that injury. I think the injury though caused her maybe to push a different way or something. You know how it is when something hurts.
Oh, you go the other
you
way.
compensate.
You favor the injury, and that causes your balance to change.
And I think that's what happened.
Your balance, everything changes. And then she ended up just not
Actually
recovering.
broke her leg. Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw her in the hospital bed with that thing
Traction.
on her. Yeah, all that thing on her that looked like a Tinker Toys set.
Yeah.
And so she's probably, I would think, done for competition.
Yes.
Well, she's in her 40s too. I mean.
She needs to sign autographs and go on.
Yeah, right.
Who had the?
That's
You had
me.
the last. So
That's
that's
me,
you.
yeah.
Last.
Need some help here. 2022 at Super Bowl. What is that? Did anybody know?
Oh, that's
what was that?
56.
Oh, good job, man. Yeah. At Super Bowl 56, the LA Rams defeated the Cincinnati Bengals 23-20 in LA. Cooper Kupp was unstoppable. The Rams hoisted their second Lombardi trophy in front of a home crowd. Chris, Hollywood ending?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. There you go.
And I wish, that was great for Matt Stafford. And I've always been a Matt Stafford guy. I just think he was in Detroit with some bad teams. But he goes out to L.A., wins it, and I'm glad he got a Super Bowl. I wish, though, the Panthers could have somehow picked him up when he was a free agent. Because that would have been all they needed at that time to pull the trigger was a quarterback like Stafford. And you talk about the Super Bowl numbers. You know who can tell you every Super Bowl number just by looking at him instantly?
Farley.
As long as he knows the year, it's Dave Miller.
Oh,
Has he ever told
yeah.
you this story?
No,
It's about his birthday.
Dave remembers a lot of stuff.
No, he was born the year of the first Super Bowl.
Was he?
So he knows that if it was in 70-some and he was 50 whatever, that's what it is.
But that's no fair.
Yeah. So that's his cheat. That's his superpower.
That's his cheat sheet. Yeah.
All right, we're here at National Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram, Highway 17 North, 2223. I'm gonna let Hollywood read some of the stuff that's going on.
Oh yeah, yeah. This is
we'll put you to work while you're here.
Yeah, man, it's a huge day. Of course, for Harry Brown, and National Automotive Group is the umbrella. The parent company here for National Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram here on Marine Boulevard. So today is the big celebration, 50 years of service and community right here in Onslow County. It kicks off here in just a little bit, 11 o'clock, lasts till 4. All kinds of activities throughout the day, giveaways, cash prizes. You are invited to come on out and celebrate there. Celebrate. In 1976, it all got underway. It was founded by Jim Moore. And Harry Brown started working here about that time. Became a general manager in 81. And then in 86, he acquired the dealership. And it's just been history since then. So
that's a pretty meteoric rise. You start in 76, 10 years later, you own the joint.
Yeah, start selling.
That's pretty good.
That?
Yeah, you start selling, and 10 years later,
moving some cars.
You're the boss.
It's because of you, buddy.
I bet Harry could sell a car.
You bought all the cars since then, right? A car every year.
I bet Harry could sell a car, and him talking about some of the features on cars. That's the key, is to know what that car does, to be able to show people. If they're a techno person, to be able to show them what the radio does nowadays. Back in the old days, remember the radios, the push buttons.
That's what we had.
That was high cotton when you got that thing, because you could go straight to that station.
Well, you could pull it out.
Yeah, and reset
push it in and then lock it on. I know. I'm sitting here
sometimes it would be the general area.
I'm embarrassed. I'm sitting here looking at my 26 or 25 Cherokee, and it's filthy.
You want me to see if we can't work out a detail for you?
Man, I should have daggone.
Hey, stick around, man. That might be one of the prizes they give away. There could be all kinds of prizes. Man, all kinds of stuff. Cash prizes, everything going on.
It's going to be a lot of fun. So if you're near the area, And if you're not, come near the area on your lunch break today. Come on out. It is Friday, and look, it's a really big service. And Harry, of course, Chris can tell you, and Ron can tell you, how much Harry has done for the community.
Oh yeah, we talked about it tons.
The car dealership is a senator. I mean, he really has given back, and this is his way to give back to you guys. So come on out if you can. Yeah.
All the lives that they've touched here, about not just selling cars, but what you talked about, doing the things in the community. For years, and the thing is, he had worked his way all the way up to where he was like the senior guy, kind of running the show. So he did a good job.
That's impressive.
Yep. He's one of those. Harry, Mike Lazzara, Phil Shepard, and there's others that you can go to with an issue.
I see Phil Shepard every Friday morning at Helen's when my motorcycle.
Does he do it every Friday morning?
Pretty much. My motorcycle group goes to breakfast. Yeah.
So, what you riding now? What motorcycle are you riding?
I've still got my 09 Street Glide,
okay,
which I've ridden across U.S. 4 times. And
really?
Oh yeah, enjoyed it. Great. Times, but one of my old Navy buddies and I, Steve Sims, I had July off, had to be back August 1st for fall sports.
Yeah.
So we would take off. We had each trip, and 8,000 miles each trip.
Wow. That's a lot of cruising right there.
Well, we'd go all the way up through to the Canadian border and all the way down.
Well, while you were up that way, you ever been to Sturgis?
Yeah.
Okay.
But
how'd you enjoy that? Not during the.
No, we went to Sturgis get a shirt.
Yeah, but not during the madness.
Too many people.
Same thing with Bike Week down in Myrtle Beach.
I've been to that one now.
Yeah, but it can get a little hairy too.
Gets a little tight.
Yeah. A lot of motorcycles on the road. What's your favorite place you've gone with a motorcycle? Do you like cruising through the mountains?
Yes,
like
love
the
it.
Parkway.
Been all the way through. Well, it's a little slow, but the Rocky Mountains were the best.
Yeah.
Been all the way up to Glacier.
You didn't do that in the wintertime, though, did you?
No. Now that was the deal my wife made when she first bought it for me, was that I had to ride it every day so she could use the car to go to work.
Really?
I rode it every day. Rain,
so
cold.
You suited up when it was going to rain?
Yes, I did. Look like the Pillsbury Doughboy going down the road.
Always had that rain gear because you know how it is in coastal North Carolina. You go to work like this morning and coming home next, you're in a thunderstorm.
Well, out of all those trips west we only had 4 days of rain.
Yeah,
but
really,
two of those water was up over my floorboards. Yes, that was out. That was out in Kansas and Missouri. We got detoured. We had to go around flooded areas.
Gully washers.
Oh, it was a mess.
Yeah. Well, let's talk a bit about. You're still with the Jacksonville Parks and Rec Department. Tell us what's going on with them. Anything?
Actually, we're just
baseball stuff coming up.
We're just now finishing. We had ball games last 2 nights. We're into tournament play for basketball, youth basketball. We are probably going to finish that Monday night. Then we'll have about a week or so off, and then we'll start assessments for volleyball and baseball, and then we'll also start adult softball.
Well, now you say assessments. How does that work now? Back when we coached back in the '90s and stuff, you had a draft. You went out there and you just started picking kids. Do our assessments, are kids assigned now?
We give them, it depends on the sport. For example, basketball, we will make them do dribble, change direction, layups. Then we make them do 2 bank shots and 2 free throws. Coaches will rate them. Then they'll go in and do their draft.
So the coaches can just draft paper, basically.
We just let the coaches see what they have to work with.
Yeah.
It gives them an idea of how much work they're going to have to do with their individual ball players.
So it's still at least where the coach has a choice.
Yes.
I had heard at one time that, I don't know, I guess it wasn't Jacksonville, but I heard one time they were basically just assigning kids to teams and hoping for the best.
Well, for as long as I can remember, it's
always been in the draft.
We do the assessment in the draft. We do the assessment in baseball too.
Oh, really?
Yes.
So you got those sign-ups going on now, right?
They'll start. Well, the assessments are going to start in about 2 weeks with the baseball.
Can the kids go and be signing up now, though?
Volleyball. They better get it in now.
What's your deadline for?
I'm not sure.
But it's coming up, so it's a good time to get signed up.
Well, it's on us right now.
Wouldn't you love to have a nickel for every ball game that's been played out there at Cheney Creek Park or Jack Amiette over the years?
And I've seen most of them.
Most of them. Now, were you ever a referee or an umpire for some of those games?
The only thing I umpired was the last 7 or 8 years I've been doing adult kickball. We have an adult kickball league. Co-ed. It's about 20-something teams. And it's we use international rules, and I
didn't know there were international rules for kickball.
And it's extremely competitive.
That was good. Maybe my next question. Do you see some that don't realize that their athletic ability isn't what it used to be?
Yes, and it's usually right after they kick the ball and they head into first base.
Yeah. So, have you ever seen someone where their body gets ahead of their feet?
I see a bunch of them where they start pulling muscles because they haven't been kicking in quite a long time.
Yeah, it's definitely a little more warm-up time nowadays for our age than it used to be. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But they really get into it, and the numbers keep growing.
Well, when I Ron, Coach Holtzford, what's your go-to sport? Is it still soccer, mainly?
Yes, but now it's mainly, especially since my grandson's playing ECSL, and he's been to the Nationals a couple times in San Diego, and this is last year in Seattle, and the year before that, luckily it was on the East Coast. They were in Greensboro. But he's 17. He's a rising senior, and
awesome.
He's playing varsity.
He's getting ready to get into the fun times.
Yes, and now I go to soccer games. It's totally changed.
Yeah, we're good.
It's totally. We don't run the same systems. Everybody's different. They're doing more like pro sets, the way the pros do it. Than the 4-4-2 and the 3-4-3s and all that. So.
Well, now, what's your big spectator sport? As a fan, what do you like watching on TV more? The football guy?
College football.
College football. We were going to get into that with Harry, and he's had to step away. Obviously, things are jumping off here now. But the two biggest things going on in sports now in college athletics, and it's not just football. It's football, basketball, and even baseball.
I love to watch College World Series.
Transfer portal.
Oh, that.
Yeah, it's ruining. I think it's ruining college athletics.
I think it is.
I almost wish they would go to a limit.
How many times you can transfer?
Yeah.
Well, golly, look at how many numbers you see on these guys.
I know. And the thing is, we saw a stat the other day. It showed the colleges where that have produced a Super Bowl winning quarterback, and it showed Wisconsin, but it did not show NC State.
Yeah.
And of course, Russell Wilson was at both. That's before the transfer stuff really started happening. What do you think of the transfer portal?
I'm old-fashioned. I'm old-fashioned. I like it. I like to keep college sports pure, not.
Yeah.
But not assign the money, not assign the portal, let the kids go to college where they stay at that college and graduate and play that sport. I just hate for them to keep. I don't like it here. I can get more money, so I'll go over here. There's no loyalty,
No, not at all.
and
And
it
you remember
doesn't.
some of the teams we talked about. You know, you like in Duke basketball and state basketball, Carolina basketball. There was a time where every year you knew who your team was coming back.
Exactly.
You knew because you knew that team. You knew which ones were graduating or going hardship at the time. You know, 1 year early. And then, of course, it went to you could do one and dones, which I think was the start of the end in college basketball. At least 2 years you should have to be out of high school before you can go to the NBA. But when that stuff started, I could tell you a Carolina team, I could tell you exactly who was coming back next year. You didn't have the transfer issues like you have now.
I just hate seeing where kid plays his freshman year here, his sophomore year here, junior year. I mean, what does that do to teamwork? What does that do to the team concept?
Nothing.
Building. You got to have a structure mentally and physically within a team to make it. And if you keep changing it every year, you're losing something.
Yep. And some teams might have one player coming back. There's a couple of bowl teams this year that had to forfeit the bowl games because they didn't have enough players with the transfer portal opening so early.
Well, there was one time back in 88, 85 that I was actually in the running to be the head men's soccer coach at East Carolina.
Wow, nice.
And it was between me and Will Weiberg from Greenville Rose. And Will kept calling me and saying, hey, you made up your mind yet? You made up your mind yet? And I said, no, I haven't. And when we got down on crunch time, I started thinking, yeah, I'm going to be on the road recruiting.
Yeah.
I'm never going to be home. I got to move my family. And so I told Will, I said, you go ahead and take it. I'm going to stay at Jacksonville. Lord, 2 years later, they Title IX men's soccer at East Carolina. He lost his job.
Really? Because of Title IX? Well, another.
Or it was losing program, one or the other, or both. I don't remember which.
Well, it's back now, though, obviously, yeah.
Just women's soccer.
Yeah. Okay. He was coaching women's soccer. Okay.
No, he was coaching men's, but I mean, that's the only one they got out of East Carolina. I think it was women's soccer.
East Carolina does not have a men's soccer program?
I don't think so.
I did not realize that.
I think they stopped it in 89.
But who would have thought they would have stayed this long and not got it back? I mean, that's a major sport, you know?
Well, if it's Title IX, they got to come up with a women's comparable sport, right?
Well, they did.
Make it even.
Well, once they did that, though, couldn't they get the men's sport back?
If they wanted to.
Yeah. Well, talking about the other ugly thing in college sports, NIL. When it first came out, the whole acronym stands for name, image, and likeness.
Right.
And when it first came out, I was of the understanding that it was going to be, look, these colleges are making all this money off of these kids. These kids should be able to go out if they want to and sign an endorsement deal, or, you know, if they want to do a commercial for a car lot or whatever, you know, or car dealership. That was what I understood. And now it's gotten so skewed to where each school raises money to keep them instead of just letting them cash in on their name, image, and likeness. And I just think that's those two things have ruined college athletics.
I agree.
I had a proposal, and I know it's totally simple, and I don't understand all the workings of it, I'm sure. But I would love to see where every kid that played on that team got $10,000, not instead of one getting nothing and another guy getting $13 million. You know what I'm saying? So every kid that assisted that team and helped that team get there, whether they're a practice player, whether they're, you know, a part-time starter, whether they're a reserve or a full-time stud, $10,000, and that's it. And then you can go up, like, you know, a couple $1,000. So if you transfer just because you don't like being there anymore, or, you know, because you think you didn't, you know, got the shaft, it goes back to $10,000. What do you think about that? Do you think is that way too simple to work?
Yes. And I think
I figured it was.
I think East Carolina did reinstate it.
Did they?
So I made a mistake. Yeah.
Well, I didn't know. I haven't heard of anything. I mean, out of East Carolina's soccer program, so I didn't know if they did or not.
Well, I just texted men's soccer and got a schedule, so evidently they put it back in.
Okay, well, good, because you would think at East Carolina that would be something they would want to do. Yeah. Run through real quick. When did you start your coaching career? Was it here in Onslow County, or was it elsewhere?
I was fortunate enough to, after I left Coastal Carolina, I wanted to participate in a sports program. I played baseball and basketball here. So when I went to Pembroke. Back then it was Pembroke State
Now,
University.
my dad went there. What year were you there?
I graduated in 75.
He might have been there a little before you. He's a little older. If I had to guess, I would say, oh, yeah, he was there a little before that because I was born in 68, so he was before that.
So when I got up there, I asked him, I said, I played community college baseball and basketball. I knew basketball was definitely out.
Yeah.
Because
How tall are you?
5'8.5".
Yeah. That's your Spud Webb. That's tough.
No, I couldn't even. I could touch a net. So just so happened the soccer coach was standing beside me at the table, and he said, well, look, I need some practice players. Have you ever played soccer? And I said, I've never even seen a ball.
Really?
I never saw a game.
Because we didn't have, a lot of schools back then, high schools didn't have soccer
No,
teams.
nobody did.
Yeah.
And so he said, well, come out. So I went out and tried out, and he said, okay, I'm going to put you on the practice squad. And so my junior year, I got in probably 3 minutes the whole season.
Really?
And then I got up with all the boys from New Jersey and New York, and we worked out with the ball all season. I worked out all summer, came back. Make a long story short, my best friend turned his ankle. We were playing in the Campbell Classic.
You were next man up?
And I was just standing there holding the clipboard for the coach. He said, go in while I tape an ankle. I went in, got an assist, got a goal. Next night I got an assist, got a goal. Made all tournament at the Campbell Classic, and then started for the next 20 games.
And had never played much before?
Nope.
That's awesome. That's making the most of your moment, isn't it?
And then when I got here, Linwood Paget called me in 79 and said, we're thinking about starting a soccer program. I understand you played in college. I said, yes, sir. He said, well, come talk to me. I said, I'll start it for 1 year, get it going. And 34 years later, I was still at Jacksonville High School, and I was still dealing with sports, even though I wasn't coaching. I just coached the soccer team for about 20 years or so. Gave it to Dave Miller. Miller ran it, kept right on going.
So are you, him, and Joey the only three coaches that have been at Jacksonville? I did not realize that. Wow.
Yes.
You talking about getting suckered in. You thought it would be your 1 year, and you're there 34 years. Or I said the sucker part. But how many times have as a coach come into a school, and the next thing you know, they're maybe helping, as the soccer coach, but the next thing you know, they're coaching JV boys football or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They used to say Phil was notorious for that one. Just sign this. And next thing you know, oh, by the way, you're the girls' golf coach too.
They'll do that to you in a heartbeat.
Oh, yeah. Because they got to have that feeling if they don't have that coach.
Well, I was assisting girls softball in the spring because we play in the fall.
Uh-huh.
And we had 2 really good seasons. It was slow pitch then.
Yeah.
And we made the state playoffs. We were like 17-3. And then the next year, then we said, you're going to be doing JV boys baseball. Well,
welcome.
Let me tell you what. There's a big difference between softball and baseball.
Oh, yeah.
And if you could pitch, you were not on the JV team. So when we go to New Hanover, Hogger, and Laney, it was like home run derby.
Yeah.
So.
And that's the one position more than any that if you come up and you can throw that ball, you can start as a freshman.
You're going to varsity. You're not going to be on JV.
They need that extra arm because that's the thing that separates. We announced a couple of weeks ago on the air the classes for the Jacksonville Sports Commission for 2026, and one of them was Rookie Davis, and that's the thing that really set that those Dixon teams apart in those couple of years when they had those runs was having a stud pitcher.
Exactly.
You need 2 ideally, one stud and then one. Because sometimes you have to be able to pitch the next day, and there's limits now and stuff. But if you got 2 good pitchers and a decent team, you can do something in baseball. Especially one of them's Rookie Davis.
That's just a little bit above and beyond what we normally get.
Yeah, exactly. He's one of those
once in a lifetime.
Jason Ramsey, who pitched for Phil when Phil went to 2 state championships in a row, lost both of them, but Jason Ramsey was a lot of records at UCW.
And he coached at Jacksonville High School.
Yep. He passed a few years back, which was unfortunate.
Yes.
It was very young in his life. My son went to school with his son at Southwest, and just good kid, and it just you hate to see something like that happen. That early in life, but yeah, Jason was a dog out there, man. He was a pit bull.
Probably one of the highlights at Jacksonville High School was the Ray Durham found out that I had been an athletic trainer in college.
He'll put you to work there too, only.
Well, I'm gonna tell you what. I enjoyed that the most. That was from 83 to 83 until when I came back from Desert Storm.
Yeah.
They said that you could not be a head coach of a fall sport and athletic trainer. So I got out of athletic training, but working with that football program with Durham during those years was probably just.
So you came in the year after the state championship.
Yes,
You missed the golden year.
I was in the bleachers.
I was too.
A lot of people were.
You know what? At that time, that was the largest gate for a high school football playoff in North Carolina.
You talking about the state championship game here against
82.
Yeah, with the big
Greensboro,
page.
yeah.
Yes. As a matter of fact, I got the stats on that. It just came out not too long ago.
Well, and talking about that was a time where state championship was played one year in the East and one in the West.
Exactly.
So you may have a team from they didn't have it back then, but say the Manio Redskins back then, they might have been playing at Swain County or, Murphy, and that's just where you did it.
You mind if I give you a little bit of
Go
this?
ahead.
So the gate receipts for the 4A football game this year title showed down that Page produced the Jacksonville Page game produced the largest gate receipts in high school football game in North Carolina ever, total
Wow.
29,031. Of the 7,663 paying customers in attendance, I didn't pay, to the championship game, less than 420 from Greensboro.
Wow.
So,
Man.
So
a
thank
lot of Jacksonville
to
people.
those vast groups of followers, the Cardinals were a high school name.
Well, you think about it, there was no north side then. So a lot of those kids were going to Jacksonville.
That's right.
Southwest had just started maybe 5 years earlier, 77, 76. So a lot of those people that even were at Southwest were Cardinal guys. Their parents were and stuff. So it's just
14-7. Was that was a score in that game, wasn't it?
I think it's 20 to
Well, what was it? I was trying to remember.
20 to 14 or 20 something like that.
Yeah.
I can look it up later.
I forgot
that's one knock I got for the North Carolina High School Athletic Association. Have you ever been on their record page? You go back to like some of the brackets from the years, and it's like a photocopy of the old typewriter bracket page. Instead of upgrading it, they could do so much more with that. But the records and stuff, a lot of them are not updated.
They've got to find somebody to do it. That's the problem.
Well, they do. Come off a little bit of that $13 million endowment, and I know they can't take from that, but have a little fund set aside from that to do that, because there's a lot of records that aren't in there. The kid at Dixon this year, J.J. Gulot, that over 3,000 some yards. He's going to be right up there in the top. He didn't break the state record, but he's right there at it.
He had a heck of a year. I tell you.
3,400 yards, man. And running the single wing as a quarterback.
Mhm.
That's crazy.
And back in our day, back in the 60s, you didn't have a state championship in football. You had an Eastern champion and a Western
That's
champion.
right.
Oh, I didn't know that.
There's-
Well, Harry's back with us. Want to reintroduce Harry Brown. Thank you for being with us. And we're going to talk about a couple things before we close up here. Of course, Ron Holtzfer, we've been, reminisce about a lot of stuff. Now, you talk about the Eastern and Western champions. A lot of people don't realize that Lejeune has a state championship in football. It was a Division II is what they called it then, which is basically the same as subdividing like they did a few years back.
They had a
I
soccer
want to
too.
say it was early 80s. Lejeune won a Division II state football championship.
I think they got them listed for 1966 for soccer
Do they?
because they were the first high school to have soccer anywhere in the.
That's about
So
right.
did they win it because they were the only one?
Yeah. I don't know if that's fact, but I think they were listed down there. Coach Blanco, he started the program there in '66, I believe.
Ron, what do you think of expanding to 8 divisions like they've done?
I don't. I try not to think about it.
Yeah, I think it just waters it down
Well,
for the playoffs too
Well,
much.
earlier, before you first got on with us, we were talking about how there was a move at one time to get all of Vonson County as its own conference. Obviously, Lejeune couldn't because of the logistics, and they're too small. But you can take the other 7 and do a little tweaking on the districts and bring Southwest up to where they're all basically the same thing. But
Have a great 3A conference, yeah.
Well, the reason we
course.
talked about they didn't want to do it is because then you'd have back under the old system, like a 3A Havelock playing a 3A Topsail, and they got to go through a county that's got its own conference, and that's from what I understand why they didn't want to do it.
I was just thinking about New Hanover County.
Yeah.
Back in the day, when Coach, what was his name, Joe Miller,
Yeah.
to go to get some games, they had to go from New Hanover County to play Charlotte.
Yeah. And
because,
Raleigh,
because there was no schools anywhere around.
Rocky Mount. That's almost as far as Charlotte from New Hanover County.
So I mean, they had to do some traveling.
You're right. Even the Cardinals did in those days. It was a conference game, Rocky Mount, wasn't it?
Well, and Greenville's really got that issue right now because they're up in the Northeast, and you got all those small counties around it, and then you got Greenville with 4A and 3A schools,
and
well,
nobody else
now they're
around them.
7A, 6A schools, I guess, and so they really don't have anywhere to go, but maybe Raleigh.
And that's
Raleigh would be
why,
the closest
and
for
that's
them.
why they had to split conference.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
Because
there's so
they
many
had to-
more of those now.
And but you're right. And the other thing about the county conference, I think we just be confusing ourselves with the fact you need to get out and play other schools anyway.
Yeah.
and
Well, they
get-
play those non-conference, though, you know.
well, you can, but
You would have.
I
Let's
think
see,
the competition for the playoff games is important, and I think if we'd be watering ourselves down if we limited it to just Onslow County.
if you had the 7 county schools, you would have to play 6 games. So in football, you'd have 4 non-conference games to make out the schedule. You've done a little bit of everything from the perspective of the size of a conference. Is not the 8-team conference the best to have? Because you don't have that open date.
That
during
you
the
have
regular
to
season
you have to.
or during the conference.
It's nice to have an open date once in a while, but sometimes it comes at the wrong time.
You do not want to be that 17-team conference and have your open date as the last game of the season. Yeah, trying to prepare for playoffs and keep that going. But an 8-team conference was always the best because you didn't have to. The bad thing about a 6-team is the same thing. You don't have to have that open date during the conference, but then you got to schedule 5 non-conference games.
Well, when you got a program that's got a strong history, a lot of people don't want to play you.
True.
Well, last year Jacksonville had 9 games.
Yeah.
They didn't have 10 games last year.
Yeah.
You're right.
I
It's
mean-
been the last 2 or 3 seasons.
Yeah. We've had
From what I understand, it's the same way this coming year.
we've had people
the way
say,
everything fell.
"No, we don't want to play Jacksonville." How about if we pay you to come? I mean,
Now, most times, if you're a smaller school, you don't have a hard time getting them. But if you're one of the big dogs, yeah, it's tough to get some people to play.
well, if you're losing, everybody wants you.
I remember one time
You're going to have 5 homecomings in a row.
I remember Bob Easton, the first
Right.
coach at Northside.
Right.
It was later in his term there before he retired. They were struggling to get a 10th game, and he said they got a call from Madam Mesquite wanting to play a game, and he said, "You do realize you
down
call
the
it Northside Jacksonville and not Northside Pinetown, right? Because Northside Pinetown's still pretty good, but they're not."
Not that
What
far away, too.
At that time, Northside was in the Eastern Finals just about every year.
Yeah.
And he said, we just can't pull the trigger and go to Madam Mesquite to play a game that's basically going to be a glorified practice, because
Boy,
Madam Mesquite just
Madam
didn't have the
Mesquite is not
numbers.
very big.
No,
No.
it's about as big as that lake is deep. That lake's only about 3 feet deep all the way across.
They're a half A.
Yeah. I'm not even sure it's still Madam Mesquite. It might be a different
No, it's
name
probably
now.
consolidated by now.
Yeah.
Well, you think like a Manio High School, that's a tough schedule for them. Trying to find, teams.
First flight.
Yeah.
Yeah, first flight. Same thing.
I mean, that's
Well, first
that-
flight, nobody
yeah.
wants to go there.
That's a haul.
Yeah, I mean, from here, if it
Oh,
was
yeah.
me going, if I was in Carteret County going, I'd take the ferry because you can sit there on the bus and sleep for about an hour and a half. But
No, I wouldn't.
and they got a heck of an athletic program. I mean,
Oh,
they
yeah,
got some
they
really
do.
good teams.
They
yeah.
do well. They did good in ECI.
Yeah.
I think they're still called the Redskins too, which maybe not.
Maybe,
I don't know.
know.
Obviously, the Commanders there was a thing on the Washington Commanders website the other day talking about Sonny Jurgensen, who just passed away,
Right. So
and all the great seasons he had with the Commanders. And I'm like,
No, he didn't.
I don't think Sonny Jurgensen ever had a season with the Commanders.
he didn't know.
Sonny Jurgensen was a Redskin. That was back when they had the spear on the
Oh,
helmet.
yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or
he
the
passed.
big feather.
Yeah, that's right. The big fella.
He passed away. Well, it was about 2 weeks ago, 3
Mhm,
weeks ago. Yeah,
mhm.
great all-time quarterback. I was telling Ron when you were during the first segment before you jumped on with us, or might have been that one little break. What a collector you are with cards, and he did the same thing I did. We were stupid enough to take them cards and stick in the spokes of your bicycle.
Well, I did something like that. I have to admit. But,
Well, if you had to do it over, wouldn't you get your mom and dad's playing cards and do that instead of those cards that might be worth something nowadays? What would you say is your best card you got? Your favorite? We'll go with your favorite and then the one that's worth the most.
well, I have a Mantle rookie card, which is obviously
Yeah.
a nice card. But my favorite card that I have is a Jim Thorpe card.
Oh,
Really?
my, yes. Jim Thorpe.
It's a 55 All-American set,
For
football All-American
for
set.
football, okay.
And there's a Jim Thorpe card in that set that is just a neat card, and there's also a Four Horsemen card in there. Four Horsemen Notre Dame.
Yeah.
That's in that set, and both of those cards are just kind of.
Well, he'll probably tell you they're probably not worth as much as some of the others, but they're just cool cards.
They're not. That, I'm gonna guess that card is $1,000-$1,500 card, maybe.
Jim Thorpe.
But
come on.
But still, it's a unique card.
It is.
And he's standing there with the old leather helmet.
Yeah.
And it's just like I say, it's just a neat card.
I just can't remember all the poor. Like I told earlier, he's just a rookie. Let's put him on the spokes.
Yeah. I mean, this isn't one of the stars. This is a rookie. But who knows? That might have been a rookie Reggie Jackson or something.
Yeah.
Another key card I got is Fleer came out with the 86 set, which has Jordan's rookie card in it.
Yeah.
Well, actually, there was another company. It was called Star Company. They were only in existence for a couple, 3 years. And Jordan's true rookie card is an 85 Star card. And I have that card.
Is it worth as much as the Fleer, though?
It's actually worth more.
Really? Because it's the original?
Because it's rare.
Rare.
And
interesting.
It's so weird how cards will get that. The New York Knicks card where it has the Menendez brothers on it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
They're in the front row, the two, Lyle and whatever his name is, the brothers that murdered their parents, I guess it was, infamous case. I'm not going to call it famous, infamous case.
Yeah, on that front row of that NBA game.
On the front row of the game, they're caught in the card, and nobody realized it till later because of who they were, It's crazy how a card will take on like that. A card just for something that, some kind of mistake or something like that. Do you remember any of the Topps cards that blotted out the helmets? Do you remember those?
Well, there's a Billy Ripken card on the knob of the bat that had a bad word that is an error card that, is a rare card.
Yeah.
And so, there's a Frank Thomas card where it doesn't have, it just left out his name at all.
Really? Just because it's an error?
It's an error card. So there's several of these error cards that are out there as well.
It's kind of like the Andy Griffith episode where Andy tries to sell Barney the nickel with the buffalo looking the wrong way, that type thing.
In the 52 top set, you got Joe Page and Sane. What's Sane's first name? I'm going blank. But their cards 48 and 49. And on Sane's card, the back of it has Page his bio, and on the Page card, it has Sane's bio. So they're error cards, and those are valuable cards.
Well, the only thing I remember is we're probably paying for all the dental work from all that bubble gum.
Johnny Sane.
Man, that thing, it was stuck there to the back, and one card would have that outline on it, and that thing was just as hard to eat. It was like chewing a brick out there.
I really don't collect any new stuff. Everything I'd like to collect the older stuff because it's just, I don't know, it's just neater to me.
Do you ever every now and then go to a thrift store or something like that, or
it's hard to find any of that old stuff anymore.
Most people know what it is when they see it nowadays.
That's right.
Now, one collectible that back to the NASCAR world. Do you remember the Winston poster that's so famous? You probably know what I'm talking about. Had Tim Richmond on it.
Okay.
Tim Richmond was a different animal, if you know what I mean. Free spirit. And it had a certain thing on it that, well, basically Tim had a wardrobe malfunction. And that card is worth a lot. I mean, that poster is worth a lot of money. But it's just weird. And I was sitting there. We were at North Wilkesboro one year. This is when they weren't even racing there. And we're eating at a steakhouse there that was still race themed. And we're sitting there, me and my wife, and the cards, the posters there, and I knew about it, but I didn't say anything. I was with a lady, so I didn't say anything. Well, all of a sudden, I'm sitting there eating, and I catch somebody at the corner of my eye right here beside me, and it was a lady looking across our table. Yep, there it is. So it's funny how those things get out. But Tim, he was a different bird.
Racing kicked off last night, kind of.
It did.
For the season.
The Busch, not the Busch Clashes, the Twin 125s,
Yeah.
And then they had the Clash at Bowman Gray Stadium again this year. That might be the last year with all the
Well, it was about 30 degrees that night and raining. So
and it cleared snow off the track twice that week.
Now, my mother, bless her heart, was a race car fiend.
Yeah,
She would listen to the radio. She'd listen
Oh, yeah.
or watch it on TV.
PRN and MRN.
She was a Fireball Roberts.
Fireball
that might have been
Roberts.
before
Yeah.
PRN. Yeah.
Believe it or not, I got a Fireball Roberts card.
Do you?
I do.
You're talking about when they used to race on the sand a little bit too, didn't they?
Yeah, dirt
Daytona,
tracks. A lot of dirt tracks back then.
Well, that was back when Daytona was, started the street version, and then part of it was actually on the dirt or the sand of the beach.
It was on the beach is what it was. Yeah.
The NASCAR, it's totally changed, and I'd like to see the Clash go back to probably Daytona, and I think that's why they had it there because of the warm weather. Bowman Gray, it's an iconic place, but to see all those cars going basically like we're doing laps in this parking lot right now.
Well, it was caution.
They say it took forever.
Yeah, I watched a little bit of it, and it just took forever. Yeah.
I watched part of it, and I tuned back in, and it was almost 11 o'clock, and they still had 100 laps to go, and the network they were on broke away and went to FS1 because they just couldn't do it, So, yeah, I think it needs to be somewhere where the weather's a little more regulated. It's like used to back in the day, Atlanta used to be the second race of the year. And who knows, in Atlanta in late February, you might have snow, you might have whatever.
If you're lucky.
It's all about logistics. Now, I am glad to see North Wilkesboro back.
Yeah.
Have you ever been there before?
I have.
I've never been to the North Wilkesboro race. Now that they got a cup race this year, I'm going to try really hard to try and get some tickets and go to that one because it always used to break my heart to be headed towards Boone and you look off to the right.
Yep.
And that iconic place that for so many years had racing, trees growing out of the grandstands.
Now, why did they shut it down in the first place?
Just
too small?
Too small. That was
it was
part
too
of
small, but NASCAR got too big.
And they were going those super raceways, and money drove it.
NASCAR for a little while went from they got away from beer and chicken crowd and they went to wine and cheese. And wine and cheese stuck around about 5 to 10 years, and then they said, "Yeah, this ain't our thing."
Yeah, they got away from their
By
roots.
then, they had outpriced beer and chicken, though, and that was one of the things that's led to NASCAR's decline. Now, I don't know if you've heard or not, but they talk about the new leadership in NASCAR is trying to get back to some of the old ways.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think they still need to stick with a unibody or go back to where the car looks more like a race car or the car that's on the floor?
Personally, I wish they would give you more leeway on how you can do some of these cars because today they're all the same car.
Yeah.
They just got a different look depending on the manufacturer. But the cars are all the same now. I wish you could give the teams some leeway to create some competition on how you can set your cars up more. Now, would it create some unfair advantages? Probably, but the other teams will, if they got a disadvantage, they're going to catch up pretty quick. I promise you.
They'll learn how to correct
if they got the money.
Yeah.
The two things in NASCAR that strike me the most is those situations where the Superbird. That was one of them where all of a sudden you got somebody who was so much faster than everybody else. The other one was Bill Elliott in that Thunderbird.
Yeah.
The Elliott family working out of their own shop in Dawsonville, family operation. And I might have it backwards, but I think they were everybody else was running the Windsor motor. And they switched to the Cleveland or whatever it is, and vice versa. But they got so much more horsepower than everybody else did. And I don't know if you remember years ago at Talladega, Bill Elliott was down 3 laps and made it up under green at Talladega. Well, that's astounding.
When you think about it now, you got Hendrick and Penske and I guess Jordan's team. And you got 4 or 5 maybe teams.
Well, Joe Gibbs, I guess.
Joe Gibbs. To me, there's no competition anymore. You got to create some competition somehow, in my opinion.
That's why I love to see teams like the Wood Brothers.
Yeah.
Broke through a couple years ago and had, or maybe last year, had a win. And those single car teams, to see them have a win, that's different.
You just hate to see 5 or 6 teams just control everything.
Yeah. And when they went to those multi-team, multi-car teams like Hendricks, having 4, they're all sharing information. So they have a big advantage over that one team that's just, the mom and pop operation.
All right.
You had talked about working on cars in the yard and everything. Okay, when are y'all going to have talks? We're going to take commercial break or we're going to wind it up? Okay, we're going to take a quick commercial break and come. Okay, well. Okay, you guys got anything else you want to cover before we go? Tell us one more time what's going on here today. I just had a tickle in my throat. Sorry.
Today's our 50th anniversary. We've been in business here in Jacksonville, Onslow County for 50 years. We were just National Dodge when we first started. I've been out of the 50 years. I've been part of 44, a little over 44 years of those. And so, yeah, I remember we were on Lejeune Boulevard in a double wide trailer.
Wow.
And we had a
I
service
remember
department.
Lejeune.
Yeah, they had 4 stalls. It used to be old Luckadoo Motors. People go way back.
Luckadoo Motors.
Well,
that's right.
that's where Nashville Dodge was at one time.
Oh,
And
wow.
so then we built a new facility over there before we came over on Highway 17 here and built. But yeah, it's 50 years is a pretty good milestone to be in a community, and it's been a good run for us. And we've enjoyed being part of this community, and having grown up around here all my life, it means a lot more maybe.
Yeah.
And
To be that big part of the community. We
Yeah.
talked about earlier about you started in '76 as was a salesman or general manager?
No, I was a salesman. I was 20
salesman.
years old, started selling cars at Moore Buick and Pontiac, and Jim Moore bought National,
Yeah.
or bought the Dodge dealership from Sefton Paget, who had the Toyota store at the time.
Yes.
So
remember that.
so he bought that in February of '76, and of course I was selling Buicks and Pontiacs at the time. And then in 1981, December of '81, Jim Moore calls me in his office. I'm 26 years old, and tells me, "I want you to go to the Dodge store, see if you can turn it around." And he said, "I'm going to give you 3 to 6 months." It wasn't doing very well at the time. And I'll give you 3 to 6 months to turn it around, or we're going to close the store. So I'm 26. I didn't know any better. So I pack up, and here I go over there. And I worked 60, 70 hours a week, and we turned that store around. And then, unfortunately, Mr. Moore had a brain tumor and passed away when he was 57, a lot younger than he should have.
Yeah.
And I had to find a bank at that. I was 32 at that time. And then I found one bank that would loan me $500,000, and I bought the business.
In '86.
Yeah, well, it was. We started the process in '86, but it was actually '87 when I closed on it. And so I'm one of the youngest Chrysler dealers in the country at that time, 32 years old.
Now, back then, did you sell Dodge, Chrysler, Plymouth?
We just had Dodge at that
Just
point.
had Dodges?
Uh-huh.
Foscue had the Plymouth.
That's right. It was old Foscue Plymouth. And then
He had the Chrysler, too.
then Stacy Paget ended up with Chrysler and Jeep at one time.
Mm.
You had Jerry Pelletier had the Jeep AMC store at one
I
time.
remember that. AMC,
Way
yeah.
down. So some of it changed hands. And at one time, I had Oldsmobile. I've had 2 Chevrolet dealerships. I've had Volkswagen, Subaru. I've tinkered in it quite a bit.
A little bit of everything.
Over these years. But National Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram is
The
what
brand.
I've been at
Yeah.
the whole time, basically.
Well, we were talking about how you must have been able to sell a car pretty good to go from in 11 years or 10 or 11 years from a salesman to owning the place. So you must have sold a car or 2 in your day.
Well, I tell you, I didn't know if I was going to buy it or not, because I didn't know if a bank would loan me the money at the time.
I
And
bet.
so, I mortgaged everything I had and just put it all on the line and took a chance. But I've got good people. You can't do anything without good people around you. And I've been very blessed and fortunate to have some really good people, that have worked with me.
Well, we thank you for being with us today, Harry Brown. Ron Holster, thank you for being with us.
My pleasure.
Today's the time to come. We're after the 11 o'clock hour, so things are starting between 11 and 4 today. The 50th birthday celebration of National Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. We're here at 2223. Is it North Marine Boulevard?
North Marine Boulevard. Mhm.
I knew it's Marine Boulevard. I assume it was North. Come up here and all kinds of stuff going today. Entertainment, giveaways. And like we said, they'll probably sell you a car if you're ready to buy one. Come on up today and check everything out. And we thank you guys for being with us.
All right, thanks.
My pleasure.
Before we go, we do want to thank our fine sponsors, PRQ Exteriors, Roofing You Can Trust, Golden Corral and Billy Sewell, National Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram, Harry Brown, Ryan, Robbie Yates, Chris Hines, and Quentin. Of course, PRQ Exteriors, one of our newer sponsors. Roofing You Can Trust, that's Mr. Austin Wright. Fountain Management, Lisa Thornton and Sandra Fountain. Southern Touch Painting, Roger Carroll. All About Floors, Ron Prince. Downey Seeking Air Conditioning, Jason Humphrey. And by the way, Jason Humphrey was our sponsor for the Olympic segment we had. He's our normal Hurricane Watch sponsor. Express Printing, Myron Cross. Onslow County Motor Company, Ben Beasley. Bartley Insurance Services, Bill Mercer. Humphrey Heating and Air Conditioning. Jones Lonzo EMC. Jones LP Gas there in Verona. Today you can get your cylinder refilled for $11 on Fridays. Lane Associates Family Dentistry, and our normal food sponsor, Helen Kitchen and Billy Grissett. They always bring us the greatest food. Today we gave them the day off because they're doing some food out here. And before we go, I do want to thank one other buddy of mine, Jerry Stevenson, the owner of the Redneck Barbecue Lab. He's going to hook us up with some Hurricanes hockey tickets. So we're going to give Jerry some love on his new location. It is in Hope Mills, North Carolina. It's he's going to be the barbecue lab right beside Dirtbag Ales. I've never heard of that before, but it sounds almost like a biker type establishment, don't it? So if you know where Dirtbag Ales is, that's where Jerry Stevenson and the new Redneck Barbecue Lab will be. Also has locations at exit 319 off of I-40, McGee's Crossroads, North Hills, where Hollywood and Ashley ate with me at North Hills location. Good barbecue and brisket and burnt ends. And good luck with Jerry on his new location. And that's a wrap for Sports Talk. We will see you guys next Friday.